I'm going to...
Oh, I want to be one.
I'm working around to that.
You can be one good gnome from an evil civilization.
Wait, no. I'll create...
cycles away from
Actually, I'll create the subrace first so that it's not corrupted. I'm going to create a subrace of gnomes. And I'm going to corrupt the gnomes.
Dark gnomes.
Essentially, the gnomish city is entirely... They're not evil in the sense that they'll, kill you as soon as they look at you.
Mm-hmm.
They're evil in the sense that they'll take your name away. This is what gnomes do to each other, mostly, but they'll do it to anyone else they can find. They are, because they're so good at guile and diplomacy, they like to... One day a gnome will wake up, and no one will seem to know who he is, and his best friends will not know his name, and everyone will just kind of take his stuff and pretend not to notice him, and eventually he'll be left alone in the plains, and Wayne City will roll on, and somewhere his worst enemy, or maybe his best friend, writes his name on the wall of the Wayne, and all the big gnomish family Waynes are just ringed around and around and around with all this beautiful calligraphy, and it's called Unnaming a Gnome. And name is everything for a gnome. Their civilization is a combination of Devil Wears Prada, junior high school, and and the Hindu caste system. And the offshoot race is known as, of course, the Nameless. Because culturally they're gnomes. Name is everything, and if their name gets taken away from them, then they honestly believe they don't have any name. And they are desperately poor, and will do anything to get their name back, including anything any gnome tells them to do. Because if a gnome tells a Nameless to do something, he's actually noticed the Nameless gnome. So that's your first step towards having a name back. If he says, "Hey, ugly," then you've got a name. You're ugly. And you'll do anything for this generosity.
How did they lose their name in the first place? I don't understand.
The gnomes are really good at diplomacy and guile. So it takes a number of things. You might use your illusion skills to frame them for murder, and then no one wants anything to do with them anymore.
Okay, so it's basically you're being shunned for something.
They're evil, so murder's not so bad. It's being gauche that's really bad. Maybe he wore purple and
While he murdered someone. That.
Well, and on the other side, assassination is not a bad thing in gnome society. For instance, as long as you make sure it's done with style, all the old hoses assassinate each other like crazy, and the real, terrible thing is that Lady What's Her Name was expecting poison, so when the assassin arrived, the blood clashed with the blinds, and everyone was really let down. But otherwise,
so they're
they
very
both got a lot of
stylish
name on
villains.
that.
We're talking.
Wow, what a lot of detail.
I spent a while thinking about this. Anyway.
And they're all going to get hit by
That's what Robin should do. And they all die. Moving on.
Corruption for 3 is 7. I've got 8 left.
So what is the subrace? The subrace are the evil ones? The subrace are just some good ones that stay.
The subrace are the Nameless.
Oh, I see.
It's just after such a long thing, it'd be nice in a sentence to erase them. And they die.
I have a question about that. If you make a subrace, are they by default neutral, or are they...
I made them when they were neutral, and then I corrupted the gnomes.
Is
so that I could
the
have a
thing that
neutral
you sent
subrace.
around, it said that you can give them up to +1 to -1 at creation? Is that, do you not want to do that?
No, that sounds very familiar. I forgot about that. When you make a subrace, they start from the same, but you can give them +1 or -1. So you can make a slightly evil version or a good version.
Sorry, I didn't learn rules. I love rules.
No, and
I should almost do that
right.
for a living.
It's a good thing.
I'm going to...
I don't understand what that means.
It means that when you make a subrace, you can immediately...
Not a race, but only separate.
When you make a subrace, you can immediately kind of corrupt them or purify them one step away from their source.
Oh, but -1 isn't referring to the points. That's just referring to
their
corruption amount?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a shanty town
That's my cake.
for the Nameless to live into.
I would
It's
suggest
a relic.
not building a city
Will the
on
shanty
cake.
town not have a name?
I have a feeling it's not going to last very long at all. That'd be my cake. If your cake may, I don't know.
There's more cake if anyone wants.
And the nameless found it, I'm assuming?
Yeah, and sometimes the gnomes wander in there. Young gnomish nobles with nothing better to do will wander in there, kill who they like, take what they like. And then one day, the Brown Knight is wandering through the town, and she comes across one of the nameless, and she says, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "I'm nameless." And she says, "Well, actually, that's really the best thing that's ever happened to you, if you think about it. You don't need to worry about, that, like, Wayne City is a travesty, and, no one there ever has any fun, because all they can think about is how, either how they need to build their names or how their names might be taken away from them. Whereas you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can find something else to be interested in." And that's how the religion of the Brown Robes is born. Essentially, none of them have any names. They're very humble. Like a Brown Robe might go and he might meet a hero and decide to be the hero's squire, etc., etc., etc. Or he might find a great artisan and just decide to be an assistant to this artisan. They feel free to follow whatever they think is good because they have no name.
They got nothing to lose.
They've got nothing to lose. And a lot of them, it kind of turns into a kind of a socialist order because for a lot of them, the good thing that they're following is the nameless. So they tend to be a little communist. So I'm going to discount that because the Brown Knight's helping out with that. That leaves me with 1 point.
Does that mean she dies in the process of this somehow?
Oh, actually, I got a roll for that, don't
Yeah.
She could be a martyr. She could be a martyr.
I? On a six, she'll die.
Terribly go.
So she told
She
the
dies.
She told the gnomes, "Hey, you can do whatever you want."
Actually,
Wow.
well, what she does is as the Brown Robes are starting up here, a group of gnomish nobles. A group of gnomish nobles comes in to do their ordinary harassment, and the Brown Knight of the Hound. She has no name.
How appropriate.
Yeah, well, they're being nameless.
She tries to stop the gnomes from harassing the nameless, and they jump her. She fights them off as well as she can. She's unarmed, and at the time, because she's hanging around with the nameless, and they tend to have nothing, and they kill her, and the nameless. But one of the things she says is just because they're nameless doesn't mean they can't defend themselves. So that's how the way of the open hand is started. Basically, the nameless, because they have nothing, develop kung fu. So the open hand are kind of the...
So we've got kung fu gnomes with no names.
Actually, my plan is for them to eventually have halfling stats, and the gnomes have gnomish stats,
Okay.
except they're identical. Except,
I don't know, I
except
just
their
like the
basic
phrase
philosophy
kung
gives
fu
them different-
gnome with no names.
Gnomes with no names.
Yeah,
And brown robes.
and Brown Robes.
Wasn't there some
but
sort of
that's
Doobie
gonna happen
Brothers
much
song about that? They rode around in the desert with a gnome with no name.
The heat was hot.
Anyway,
I was gone. I had a plan for one of those nights, and now I forgot what it was.
Anyway, there's the open hand dojo somewhere in Shantytown. Everyone knows where it is, but all of the nameless know where it is, but it's hard to get it out of them because it's one of their most holy sites. In it is the grave of the Brown Knight.
Do people make pilgrimages there?
Well, actually, any of the graves you can make it a pilgrimage destination, and then if you wear that knight's heraldry,
That's good. You can
you
loot
get established.
or whatever.
Or you could loot it for their
So,
artifacts in
I have
case you're a
those
bad person.
really, really magical, really, really intelligent scientific guys who live here. The
Yeah.
Foonquah.
Oh,
They're founding another city. So they have this big city here. They have another city there. I don't have a name for the city yet.
That's fine.
Give me a name, Brian.
Do you want your sheets?
This is my story.
Something that sounds like something that exists in Afghanistan.
I'd like to
Something
go
like
through
that.
Name them
and find
afterwards.
words that
Yeah,
aren't
I can always
real
name
words.
them. So
Elder Amelia?
make a list of them.
Let's
Amicia?
it's probably
It's all in.
easier to just
Okay,
leave
I'll
it.
name
Yeah,
it
that's
after
the ER
Let's
section.
get one that's
So-
not.
Well, there haven't been any with ER yet. so
Well,
I
it's, I
figured-
needed to sound like Arabian, sort of Persian.
Raukshi.
Nine-mail?
Rakshi might work.
Raukshi.
Nine-mail?
Rakshak? Rakshi. Nanaimo? No.
No, I didn't say nine-mail.
Well, the way I have it spelled is
It doesn't matter. Oh,
RAUQSHI.
that's good. Q's. I didn't key. Oh well. It'll get destroyed. So there's Rakshi. That was a
There's
city
Raukshi.
that exists.
Alright.
At this point. in
Where's
time.
my create city? How much does that cost?
It's command civilization.
What?
Command civilization
Oh, right.
costs 4 points.
And I'm gonna make an army or fort, not fort.
To do
You
army
first you make
twice.
yeah, exactly.
What?
To make
A
a
horde
fort,
is an
you
army
do
twice.
an army, make an army twice.
Oh, it's like a double army.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And the only difference is just the flavor. Like, you can do whatever you
So-
want, but it's sort of like if you have a horde, you got a horde, right?
Here's what I'm thinking. My Unqua are very curious about this obelisk that they've heard about.
Oh, I got points for that too.
It's okay, we'll share our plan. They would like to study it, so they send some emissaries over to ask if they can study it. I'm assuming the dudes
Oblin.
who Oblin are not gonna let it go.
No,
Naturally?
no, the Oblin are not going to let it go naturally.
Okay, so
They're liable to get
therefore
old-fashioned if you take it away too.
they're making an army because they really like to study this, and they don't like it when people say no to them because they are very magical and very scientific.
So,
And they know everything. And these little hooty wooties, what are these guys like?
Oblin.
I know, but what are they like?
They're like tieflings.
Yeah, these tiefling things,
Oblin.
they are so below us. And I want to make my
Literally.
race slightly corrupt and very arrogant and selfish. How much does that cost?
Corrupt civilization costs 3.
And describe civilization costs.
Well, it's part of the same thing.
Okay,
If
that's
you
good.
if
Corrupt city.
so what about the
basically-
Raukshi again?
Corrupt civilization.
What is it?
if yeah, like when you corrupt
What
something,
was
you
that?
get to describe it.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's good to know.
pretty much anytime you do anything, you get to describe it. The describe is like throwing something on extra later. Like if you just wanted to make them do
And
something.
ultimately, the description is the point of all this. So,
Yeah.
So basically, my Unqua, which are very, very intelligent, whatever, they have now 2 cities in 2 separate places
Yeah, okay.
in the
That's
desert.
the city.
They are desiring to study this obelisk that they've heard so much about. They're being rejected from that, and this gives them issues. And obviously, this is over a long period of time. They're becoming very kind of arrogant. Because, I mean, they are pretty awesome. And they haven't met the Ood, so they don't know that there's other people as awesome.
there isn't anyone.
Actually, we've got a lot of arrogant races here.
Yeah, that's perfect time. Perfect for cataclysm.
Yeah, pride comes before.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Meyer maids are pretty humble.
Maybe they won't all be corrupt. These guys in this city are being
Iceman.
corrupted, but not those
Actually,
guys.
it's cheaper
That's
if you
cheaper
corrupt
than-
a city.
Corrupting a city is cheaper.
I'll figure out how much it costs me. Ding!
Go Finland! Good.
We do have fans.
It's like he's still with us. Anyway.
Write that down.
He spent all the points.
Duly noted.
Well, I guess I'll roll.
Deep in the first age. Finland is very important.
9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know what to do.
No, Finland doesn't come into play into the second age.
Well, I guess I'll spend 4 points to create another Dwarven city. Maybe make it around here. What can I call it?
Landgeschäft.
That's
Wrong.
Geldo. Geldo.
That was the nice before fortress is Landgeschäft.
It's not actually me.
Stone fortress.
You have very literal-minded dwarves.
it's my great pet peeve that there's no name for dwarf and dwarfish. Otherwise, I would name it Dwarf Fortress, and then I would call it a group of dwarves.
I tend to go the other way. I randomly generate a name and then often will try to live up to it. One of my favorite forts was Bones Ringed. That one worked out well.
I think any fortress would probably work out pretty well for that thing.
And
Or me.
the dwarves are gonna go to war against the Ood.
Jerks. What did the Ood ever do?
They were different than dwarfs.
So I assume
much, yeah.
you assume you form
They
an
have
army.
wiggly beards.
Oh yeah, I guess I should probably do that.
So to go to war, you've got to raise an army,
Yeah, raise an army.
and
so
then
that's
you've got to
4.
command civilization. Once you got the army, you can just keep commanding. But it'll cost you 8 to go to war this time.
Yeah. Okay, I have exactly enough points to do that.
How much
So,
does it cost to
how do we want to resolve this?
actual race army?
It's just command civilization, same as founding a city.
And this was the dwarves that
So
did
it's
this
4.
type of war.
I want
Yeah.
a goddess. Do I
Okay.
Yeah.
Attack
I'll create
you.
a goddess.
So this is a
So, okay. So is there a particular reason they're attacking you? Just for like space or any like particular reason?
They don't like them.
Okay.
It's now
Yeah,
funny.
it's been established that
Yeah.
dwarves are
The
racist.
dwarves,
Yeah, right,
the dwarves don't like.
They happen to be the closest race to
The
the
dwarves don't
that's
like
all.
folks that are different. They don't take kindly to these folks.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are
Sitting on
you
their
different from
doorstep.
dwarves? I don't.
Slightly taller?
2 brains, magical, short and stocky, live as in stone.
face.
Pretty
Yeah.
much the
They
same.
both have beards.
So
They smell funny.
typically, like you can, for example, attack one of these cities, or unless you have something like as part of your attack, and then we just sort of decide what happened. By default, it's you and I that decide. Now,
Yeah.
Or it could just be that they're in a state of war and
you could just say that too, but you could also we could attack the city and or whatever,
I don't know.
or we could just say they're always fighting. Whatever.
Well, you could use the command to say that the dwarves start to build war fortifications along this line here. That would be interesting.
Yeah, let's do that.
in the
I think we should name something after
in the
me.
campaign of the crazy group, the dwarves weren't xenophobic generally, but they were completely over the top paranoid about the squirrels, and they built
So
they built a
they're
great
building
wall
things
of
like
China
walls
to keep
and archery
squirrels out of
towers
their mountain abode. It was
Whatnot.
Now, where are the squirrels in this
So I
situation?
think it's your turn. Yeah.
Did the trees
Oh, so there are no squirrels.
This is in the other group.
Oh, that's in a different group.
Does
Okay.
anybody have any plans to create elves?
I do in the second one. So if you create elves here, you
That's
can
okay? Alright. Well, I actually was going to use one of your heroes too. One of your heroes goes far over, like over past where Robin is. There's another place.
I think you're going to have to pay
Circus?
the cost to create.
I have to create that all that? Oh shit, okay. It'll take a few turns. But anyway, one of the heroes goes far away over there and finds elves that are in dire trouble.
Which
They come
warriors
on
is
ships
this? Are there
from far,
colors,
far away.
right?
Huh?
Which color warriors? They all have different colors.
Puce.
Let's say,
actually, they also have various aspects with the different colors. Like I intentionally chose Helen because,
the dolphin.
well,
Where's
I've
a
got,
good
Oh, what do you got?
see one?
I've got Lemuel, Knight of the Moon, Aristones, Knight of the Owl. That's white and gray. Black, Alan, Raven. Blue, Timothy, Peacock. Yellow, Carlos, Knight of the Sun. Orange, Astrid, Knight of the Phoenix. Green, Guthrun, Knight of the Ogre. Red, Leonard, Knight of the Rose, and brown was going to be Helen, Knight of the Hound, but she's
Which do you think? Which would you most prefer for seagoing adventures?
Seagoing adventures, probably the Peacock, actually. Timothy, Knight of the Peacock.
All right, Timothy Knight of the Peacock sails over there and then brings a host of elves that then come over, fleeing some unspeakable horror that is lost. They actually, the first thing they do is they destroy all of that. All the knowledge
They
of
burn
what
the-
happened over
Did
there.
they burn the boats?
And they're terrified
So they can't
that
go back?
they're missing, that it's brought
Who
with
did
them.
that?
There's-
Ooh,
there's
that's a historical thing.
So they're all paranoid. They land
Well, we don't know because they destroyed all that knowledge.
over here.
No, I mean, I realized somebody
On the edge
did
of
got
Finland?
someplace and then
Yeah,
burned the boats.
I have 7
Yeah, but
points.
you don't know who they are because
They're
they
not
destroyed all that
Five.
knowledge.
Create a city.
This is-
I have enough. And they create a city called Allenway, which is the last goodbye.
Care to recap that? Like what happened over there again?
One of
don't
the
know.
knights went over to the far lands
Yeah.
and found elves that were in terrible situation,
Okay.
and refugees came and
Can
And
you
then they destroy all
spell the
knowledge of
city?
what happened.
ALON W-E with an umlaut.
I just didn't fully understand because it wasn't fully explained. So.
But you don't. You can spell it way if you want, whatever. I mean,
I'm just gonna write
No,
the
we're all
umlaut.
the umlaut is
And
important.
Yes.
and sorry,
makes
what,
it
and
more
what was
metal.
it called?
it means the last goodbye. Because that was the last. As soon as they landed, the last person that died through their privations on the journey was over, basically.
And do we roll to see if Timothy Peacock?
I did. He made it. He made it.
And just to let you know, everybody has influence to bring misery upon the elves. If you want to have influence to do good things for the elves, you have to pay for it. But if you want to bring disaster or hurt them, whatever, that's good for you.
That's their racial they excel at suffering. Just like Dragon Age.
I know
elves.
people like that.
Well, no, if you're all nice, they'll have a great life, you know?
They are advanced in the ways of suffering.
Oh, and they are benevolent people, because they start with +1, and it's because they have a lot of
you
compassion.
created a new race, not a sub-race, so you
Oh, you're right. I didn't create a sub-race. I created a city. Sorry.
It's okay.
Even if
You
you
can
take
say
it,
I
it's
intend to purify them. and that's
I
fine.
do intend to purify them, because they start from a fairly compassionate background. What happens to them?
Well, that's nice.
I-
They live next to the nameless. They're the brown robes can help out with them.
Now, finally, the nameless have someone to look down on. It's like,
Actually,
well,
right.
at least we're not elves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, it's me. Yes, I will roll my dice. Those two things. All right, I got 5 points plus 3 for my having spent everything previously. That's 8. Excuse me. Let me see now. Your Owenway, whatever their race.
Yes.
Umpqua. Yes. They have raised an army. And
It's
they-
secret.
Oh, but I know about it because I'm meta. Anyway, yes, and they want that obelisk
They have mentioned to the Guardians of the Obelisk
and the Guardians of the Obelisk
that they would like to
said,
study it.
No,
They said that it was quite impossible.
quite impossible. Well, it is actually quite possible because the obelisk's fortifications and defenses are all facing towards the rift.
They really are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
the obelisks do tend to build geometrically, so if they build a fortification facing the rift, they tend to build a completely useless fortification facing the other way just so it
Yeah.
balances.
Do
But
they
they
man
use-
them both the same?
They don't budget.
They
for
put
it.
one man per 5 feet of wall, as per the book.
But
They're very,
They're so
but
predictable.
But
I'm
they put
feeling
the old and the crippled on the wall facing away.
yeah, they weren't expecting an attack
Yeah.
in that direction.
Now, in order to, I'm going to need to gain influence.
Though apparently, for some reason, they kept the obelisk. We have it down on that corner there. So I
Yeah.
guess they didn't have a main fortification because, of course, the rift dwellers would not be attacking the obelisk. Grey Wall's in the center of the rift, and that's where
Yeah.
the rift defenses are fortified.
Yeah.
That works. That works.
All right. So I got to get that obelisk into Umpqua hands.
Why?
Apparently, it's quite small.
Part
Because
of
it's
the plan.
interesting.
Do you want
Part
me
of
to
the
do that?
Plan.
I can do that.
But it's my turn.
Oh,
Don't you need to
So,
influence
yes,
the
I
It's
need
all
to gain
part of the
influence. I need
plan.
to gain influence
We
somehow.
create
With
the
my
album
With
cover
Umpqua.
for Led Zeppelin's Presence.
Or possibly
Okay,
I could
good
gain
work.
influence
Let's
with
find an obelisk on it.
the obelisk.
Yes, maybe there could
Okay,
be
so there's a
turncoat.
faction. Yes, turncoat oblin. They interpret the rules differently. Now, how will we do this?
I always had half a plan to have some of them slightly corrupted by chaos, so they had more free will.
We could do that. I could do that. I will gain some influence on them. Where's gain influence? Whoa, 6.
Or they could be
Okay, that's a
corrupted by
lot.
something that comes out of the rift.
Or they could
Or by the
or they
obelisk
could be
itself.
changed by the obelisk, which has the obelisk hits the singularity and gains AI, and then decides that he wants to go with the Umpqua because it doesn't understand itself well enough.
All right.
That way
or
you
just
can
wants
use
to come up with
you can use the obelisk to discount your
Yeah.
cost there.
How can I use the
Because
obelisk?
it's a relic.
Because it's a relic.
So you
Oh.
get a -1 whenever
So
you
you get
use
a -1 whenever you use it, provided it makes sense given the relics.
But it's not my legendary entity, it's Mika's.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you're doing it for Mika.
I think you have rights over Mika's stuff because he gave you permission.
Okay,
Yes.
it's true.
So
He
I think
gave me
you
my-
you have Mika's influence.
Alrighty.
Go Finland.
Oh, he
So
actually specifically said that.
yeah, he emailed me his plans, so I have them.
Oh, but, well, he also told us specifically he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talked about it last.
That's why he made the
All
argument.
right. In that case, it overhears the request that was made, and it also overhears the absolute denial that the Oblin give for this request. And it decides, no, I would rather go with the.
Are we recording this time?
Yes, I am recording. It was useful to record last time because I
Apparently, we're
reviewed it
being
all.
recorded.
I reviewed it all before this session, so I remember all last time.
Go Finland.
Balloons.
Can I get a copy of it to listen to? Because
Sure.
I missed a lot last time.
Yep.
It's busy.
Anyway,
I'm just
so
gonna
it
go across
decides.
being so annoying.
It decides to go with the Umpqua.
I'm just gonna come across as being stupid.
And I guess
Usually
what do I
happens.
need to do to make that happen? Just having it move from one place to the other.
To be an event.
That's so ridiculously expensive for some reason.
This could be maybe
Yeah.
maybe somebody will use
One cheaper because of that.
Yes.
Well,
They would and then do it.
well, okay. I would combine this actually.
Well, I thought you were trying to get influence. Isn't that what you're
Well, I
doing?
was trying to get influence with the Umpqua to make them attack, or the Oblin to make them give this thing away. But now I'm just making the Obelisk for itself. But it's okay because I know what I'll do.
Well, you could even make it part of your gaining influence.
So,
yeah,
yeah, you could just pay for gain influence
It's-
-1.
Yeah.
All right. I will pay 5 points, so I have 3 left, and I will bank those. I think. The obelisk goes with the Umpqua, and they take it over to the city in the dry forest.
That's the city. I changed my mind about which city was corrupted. I think Rakshi would be the corrupted one.
Yes, it's farthest away, so it's
Yeah.
safest, and that's where it will be studied.
That's in that bizarre dry forest.
Yes.
So it's being studied in the
Which-
drop city.
It turns out, let's see, what can I do to describe that forest? Would describe city cover the forest?
It describes.
What are you trying to do?
I need to describe the forest. I have details to add to it.
Is it geographical details?
Details about its nature. I'm not going to change it. It's like they've discovered some things about it.
Probably depend. I don't know. Probably describe city is okay.
I can afford that. Describe city. So it turns out the reason why
Doesn't have to be
there
exact.
is able to be plants and trees in the desert that have no water is they are in fact undead plants and trees. The whole forest is a forest of
Zombie forest.
zombie forest. Actually more like mummies.
Yes.
Mummified trees that are still growing and still producing mummified seedlings that grow. Don't worry. It won't be around for long.
Makes me wonder about their nutritional content.
Don't eat them.
Don't eat those trees, Robert.
Well, not the trees, but the fruit.
Oh,
They have withered fruit. They grow
it's
withered
like
fruit.
raisins.
Yeah.
Well,
The trees
what if
grow
the
raisins.
Umpqua been eating?
Do they do salt?
They've probably been eating from the oasis.
Okay, so I have 1 point left and I'm going to bank that.
I lost
Where
my
did it
dice.
go? Where did it
So I
go?
wonder what will happen to the Umpqua
Where did it go?
who
Here it is.
Around.
Oh, thank you.
mummified forest.
Oh, they got corrupted, didn't they?
They did. Mummies. Came
All right, so I'm gonna purify the ice mare one more. What does +2 good do?
Makes it better than.
It's just more better than +1 good.
They're
So you,
holier
you,
than
you can
that.
always describe it. I mean,
No,
but
there's
I don't want to describe it.
If
I
two
just want-
civilizations have a good off, they will win over your
it's just
typical.
they're going to have better.
After you. No, I insist. After you.
Okay, then I'm gonna describe the
Well,
city.
fine then.
I'm gonna add magic to them, and they're very good at sustainable magic. So their ice buildings, even if they were in the sun out of water, they wouldn't melt. So they're good at being hardy. Hardy magic.
Persistent.
They can,
Yeah,
they
persistent.
can
Thank you.
make warm
Persistent
ice.
magic. It's not warm. It just doesn't melt.
But
That's good. Kept
Okay,
cold.
so-
They have
Like-
Are
refrigeration.
they going to make giant ships? That's awesome.
Why
You
would
can always
icemen
get
need
influence.
giant ships? They can swim.
Someone can steal the tech.
Upside down ships.
All right.
Ooh, giant land ships.
A submarine. Yeah, they.
Big bubble of water.
Well, yeah, exactly. They have airships, but they think of them like submarines.
So it's basically a giant bathtub on treads.
Yes.
All right,
I
and
mean,
then
made of ice.
I haven't
Very
messed with
beautiful.
the ice,
I
but if
would-
I
I-
did, that's what I'd do. And since they're very good at making elegant architecture, it would be a beautiful bathtub.
Did you say you're done or you're still?
no, I'm not done. I'm going to create a legendary figure, Saint Sephiria. She's human. Somewhere there, in your human lands.
All right.
It's Sephiria.
Okay.
And now I'm done.
Is there anything particular about her? Like she just.
Well,
Could you
she's,
fire my
she's
butt?
just born right
very
now, but I
bright.
plan on having her martyred.
Okay.
She's born to die.
That is her governing attribute. She's dead.
Not yet.
Nobly dead.
You know, if
Yeah.
she wanted,
So-
she could move to the dry jungle.
Why would I go there?
Well, when she died, then she'd still be alive-ish.
I wouldn't want to live there.
The undead saint.
Hey, just because you're dead doesn't mean you're
she
bad.
gets repeatedly martyred.
It'll make reliquaries interesting.
Hey,
Yeah, we know that's her finger. It's still wiggling.
And not only that, it'd be like, yes, this is the holy bone. Keep it away from her. She's coming right for us.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm out of points.
So, the Ood, who have just been like peacefully expanding, were suddenly attacked by the dwarves, and they're just like, "What the? What?
actually,
Why?"
all the dwarves have done so far is aggressively fortify the border.
I
But
assume they probably had a few border
Yeah.
skirmishes and killed
Yeah.
some random Ood and stuff. And they're just like, "That's weird. Why are these technological primitives bothering us?" So I'm gonna pay for them to get an army and a horde, but they don't actually make an army and a horde. They just like increase their magical defenses, so they're like super like advanced. Like it's like they have whatever magical equivalent of like
laser turrets.
yeah, like laser turrets. You walk in there, you just die, right? So they don't actually have a huge army. It's just that they've they've uber magic themselves. They're just like, what? You attacked us? All right.
Shields activated.
Shields up.
And those are 4 points. I'm gonna say, oh, that's too expensive. I was gonna do something. Maybe I should I'll just bank it because I can't think of what to do with it, so I'm done.
Tim's turn.
Dinsbury?
Tim's turn.
Or Dinsbury?
Tim's turn.
Oh, Dinsbury.
A lot of points
good
for
roll.
Tim's turn.
Yeah. It's 8 plus
Yes,
3
it
is 9 plus 1 is 10 points. 10 points. I am going to. Well, that's the. Oh, I've got the 10 points. The Oblin are going to. Well, they just had their artifacts stolen.
stole itself.
But they still have to guard them.
They just had their artifacts stolen by the race. So, in order to prep for their war, they build another city over here called Grey Wall.
All of their cities are called Great
It's
Wall.
very descriptive.
How did they distinguish between them?
It's all in the
They're
context.
from Grey Wall. Grey Wall is
Great Wall.
Great
You know so they kind of renamed the other one as Old Great Wall.
Or is it
No,
one of those
no,
things
they
where
don't-
it's
they
like,
don't-
They're all
they're
Grey
from
Wall.
Grey Wall. Which one? Grey Wall, right? And they're like,
well, they're
know.
functionally identical too.
Yeah.
So you know, you know, if a new Auckland comes into town and they're saying, "Where are you from?" I'm from Grey Wall. Oh, he's from Grey Wall. You know, Grey Wall. Otherwise, he'd be
How
from
was
here.
the journey?
Okay, so that's 4 points. I got 6 left. They're going to raise an army. So that leaves me with 2 points.
Is the layout of Grey Wall the same as the layout of Grey Wall?
Layout. Well, why would you change a winning formula?
Exactly.
You build it according to what is logical, and then you stick
Yeah.
with that.
It's efficient.
So wherever they build a city, they're going to have to dig a trench that goes down to the primordial plane to put. The
Why
city
would they
next to
build a city that wasn't next to a trench that goes down to the primordial plane? For that matter, why wouldn't they pick a situation that is exactly the same as the other Grey Wall? You know, as insofar as it can be.
The other
You know,
one
you
worked.
pick an optimal defensive situation, and then you just build a city there, and yeah.
Alrighty.
Makes
Are you
not
done?
thinking some jammies here.
Yeah, it's just on a grid.
So
You know how I said like when we draw the map for real, we'll we'll ungridify it. No, not for those guys. They're on the grid.
So
Makes sense.
through amazing magical means, my Urakshi Unkwa have seeing what their enemies are doing, and perhaps under
They're
some
not good at
influence
stealth,
of the
yeah.
obelisk, they are creating a magical barrier. Now, I assume this is shapeland climate, basically. And so I guess it would be.
It doesn't have to
These
fill a
two-
full square. You can just draw through the square.
Oh, but it's like per in. Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
just like when I made a river, I didn't like fill the whole square with river.
but this is going to be careful
Oh,
because
it
it's.
is?
This
Oh.
is an area of perpetual sandstorms.
Ah, okay. I thought they were making a wall.
No, that's one.
Okay.
Mean, nasty sandstorms.
Hmm.
That area should have some kind
They'll
of
have to wade around to the east.
freaky name.
We'll just go through the corner.
Yeah, what's this?
Do the salt
That's
dragons
the
melt
waist
in
deep
the?
ocean.
Oh,
In
I
the-
wouldn't go there. That's scary.
Do the salt dragons melt in water?
I don't know if we ever established that.
No,
that,
they're
that
all.
question
Let's
actually.
hope not for their
You
sake.
asked that question
I
last
know,
time.
and nobody answered.
I believe that they're called salt dragons because they live on salt pillars, and they're salty because they live in an environment of salt.
Yeah.
They are not made
Yeah.
of salt.
They're salt elemental base, but they're not made of salt.
Mhm.
That's my.
So you're not going to have the Wicked Witch of the East situation.
Not without a lot more water.
Well,
And
The fire
They're-
dragon's not
that
made
would
of.
be
They're-
landing at house armor.
They're
Well,
really
magma Drake was made of magma.
they're really hard to
Well,
kill
this
though.
is
Like if you want to kill one of those guys, you got to be worth your salt.
And I still had points last time. I didn't know what to do, so I did this last time. Creating a legendary entity, a fairy of some kind. Well, basically a very mischievous, feminine entity. I like her to some kind of fairy because she's very powerful and magical in certain types of magic.
Is she one of the stars?
No, because they're good. And she's not
Oh.
good. She's
Is
much
she one
more
of the
chaotic.
evil stars?
No, is this all chaos coming out of
Evil
here?
stars
They're
are
all male.
No, coming
Oh,
out of
that's
here.
true.
What's
Uh,
coming out of this?
There's chaos in the bottom of it. There are waystones growing out of the walls. They're basically crystalline wall.
Yeah. Presumably elementals try and claw their way out every once in a while or something.
I wondered
Yeah,
if maybe, since it's so chaotic down there, if she
Can you
somehow
be
escaped.
someone, the one that escaped, chaotic person?
Something
thing
like,
that
anyway,
kind of-
she's sort of like a fairy. She's very beautiful. She's very chaotic, and she loves to create problems. She's very mischievous, and no one
For
really knows
entertain-
where she
for
lives.
her own
but
entertainment?
basically, I mean, that's the motivation that we can discern at this point. But yeah, and I don't know what to name her. I was gonna name her Kira, but
Eris.
Eris. That sounds better than Curious. That's my ex-sister-in-law, so it's probably like. I just like the name Kira. Anyway, what's it? Eris?
Eris.
That's from a
That's from
different.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay,
from
that's
Final
No,
Fantasy.
she's the goddess of discord from Greek mythology.
Oh, spelled
Oh.
different.
How do you
Hey.
spell that?
Even better.
E-R-I-S.
Oh,
As opposed to
Eris.
A-E-R-I-S.
Yes. Okay. So, got that. Oh, interesting.
Go Finland!
So I got 10 points to spend.
That's what you're spending your points on every
I'm
round.
supposed to say that in Finnish.
Let me get.
Work on that.
Oh, no, he's got it. Okay.
Okay, so I got 10 points.
Are those orange things Camino?
Oh, yeah, no, everything's green. Yes.
Oh, there's more Camino stuff in the diaper box. I just realized.
And,
You know, until you said that, I was
They're-
totally not bothered by
And-
it.
They're clean.
and this time around, I brought some CHOCKOALAT, whatever.
There's a cake.
Ah.
I pre-got one out too.
Oh, okay. That's the kind
I
I've
got the
got.
one over there too.
That's the kind I've got.
So,
Amika's not even here to help me.
And I'm just writing down very
I was-
important things that pop into these conversations, like terms like mummified forest and communal diaper box and kung fu films with no names.
Are you going to turn this into some musical number?
Maybe. Maybe.
That means I have to start introducing pony stuff.
And somehow Finland will be involved.
Anyway,
alright. Well, I'm going to create a legendary entity.
How many do we have going around?
The dwarves.
I got this.
I need to listen to my music.
I've got
in
one.
Finland that I got.
I'll go on.
I've got 2.
I don't think
I've co-opted one from Mika.
Well, the dwarves want to raise
You've
up.
got a bunch.
Any other
But art,
legendary-
legendary art, things are they're cool, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good time for him too.
Yeah.
First cycle.
The dwarves want to raise up some sort of hideous beast from the depths of the earth.
What?
Send against
My
the Ood.
my inspiration is the Balrog, but I don't want it to be the same as the Balrog. But it could be similar. I don't
I'll
know.
call them Baylors.
No. I don't know.
Combine.
Well, there is chaos down there, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's waystones above the chaos trying to seal it, but
We can also
you get
figure it
past
out
the
later.
waystones, you
There could
could
be
just
something
be a
coming
hideous
out of this
chaos.
volcano too.
Well, except it's gonna be where the dwarves are, isn't it?
Yeah. It's gonna be where the dwarves are.
Is it fire based?
Let's call it the Titan.
Mm.
And yeah, it'll just be this massive creature made of rock and fire. And yeah, they summon it from the depths to aid them in their conquest.
Ooh, you know what it should be made of? It should have waystones and chaos in it.
What?
Well, because it's kind of a elemental of the earth.
It could have horns and everything.
Maybe the Waystones
And then-
are what are binding it to the dwarves'
Mm.
control.
Yeah.
So like a collar of waystone.
Or they're just embedded in it.
So it
it
has
hurts
it's
it.
really
Or it's
powerful
very-
with
its
the,
arms like a
with
It
the
hurts
hidden
it a lot.
instability.
Mm.
Burns, and
Yeah,
so he's
yeah,
always
we could
grumpy.
go. We could go with that.
Grumpy. I like
Sorry, what was the last bit? He has chaos and what? What?
Chaos and waystones in it.
Got it. I got that.
I need to grow.
Like the chaos is inherently a part of him, and the waystones are artificially added to him as a form of control.
Super Golem.
La Kunsumi!
It's not your turn.
And with the help of the Titan, so -1, I'm going to upgrade my army to a horde.
Okay. I won't write anything down for that because it's sort of. I assume his very presence is what upgrades it to a horde. It's not like they summon a bunch more guys. It's just
Well,
like he's worth a horde of guys.
It's him, but also his
Okay.
presence inspires
More
them.
dwarves would be willing to sign up to an army.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds
Yeah.
like a really pretty magical defenses versus. Yeah, all right. Yeah,
We have
okay.
strength.
The dwarves are all about brute strength and just.
Yeah.
Does this guy like have a lot of magic, or is it more strength?
More strength
Physical
based. He's
making?
physical.
Who has played Total Annihilation?
I have, but I never finished it.
Yeah, I played it a bit.
The dwarves just made a Krogoth. It's the Uber units on the core side.
It will be interesting just imagining like these cities full of like uber magical defenders with this gigantic unkillable Titan walking.
It's got like
in
this force field over the city, and it's just.
And meanwhile, the station's blasting it away, and
Yes.
Wave after wave of dwarves.
I don't know if
Yeah,
we have
go
a
ahead,
special
I'm done.
effects budget for this. It's only the first stage, you know.
All right. So 5. All right.
Well,
So
for the first stage, you just need tapestry.
the elves across the ocean,
okay.
they make of all things a legendary entity,
Oh.
which is they basically, for the knowledge from the bigger civilization that they fled, they basically write it all down, and the elders are
They
jealously
destroyed it.
guarding this
Oh.
and use it only in the greatest, the direst of circumstances because they're afraid of X.
Whatever happened.
And but they have all this knowledge, but it's in this thing. So they consult on authentication. What exactly this is undefined unless somebody steals it, in which case, or steals a part of it, because it's bits and pieces. So if somebody steals it, hey, you can define what it is, and then that defines the whole thing. But it is better together than it is apart, but that is what it is.
It's an encyclopedia.
They created the magic box.
Yes, Wikipedia.
And that leaves me with 1 point, which isn't enough to do anything, so your turn.
Alright, well.
You can bank those points.
Yeah.
Yeah, low pointage. But I saved a point from last time and I got 3 bonus points, so that works out to a total of 8. Alright, so the obelisk is staying with the Umpqua.
Ooh, dagger smash.
Who are studying it, but it is a very clever device, and as is always the case when you've got researchers working with an AI, it convinces them, I'll help you out if you do this, or it would be helpful if you do that.
Can't
They're
do that
evil
now.
anyways.
Yeah, and they're
Evil, just corrupt.
and they are eager to help it and to expand their knowledge of it, and so they provide it with things that it wants. And so it creates a
It's
race.
like the computer in Unseen University in Discworld.
Whatever that is.
Ooh, instead of a
I've never
computer
heard
that turns evil, it could be a computer in an evil civilization that turns good.
Well, it's not exactly doing anything evil. It just wants a degree of autonomy that it doesn't have. I mean, it already got autonomy.
You mean the
that.
Oplin didn't give it autonomy?
No, the Oplin didn't give it autonomy.
Oplin lame. We're making new
Yeah.
ones. Oplin
So-
2.0.
So it arranged for itself to be stolen, but it still doesn't have the autonomy it wants because it was stolen by a race that is self-interested. It wants its own race that is subservient to it. And so, using a legendary entity, I create a race, so it costs me 5 points. Out of 8, I've got 3 left. It creates Warforged. Warforged are made in large part from wood. In this case, undead wood.
This is gonna ask.
So
Weird.
these are Revenant Warforges. They are undead Warforged. And they are...
So you
the
basically
servants.
make the wood forge.
Well, Warforged are already made out of wood. In large part. So the major component of it is wood.
Yeah, a lot of times they look very metallic in the pictures, but they also have a lot of wood in them. It's just that
Yeah.
that's on the inside of the armor.
The wood is the metal is like armored bits on the outside, whereas inside they're mostly wood and stuff.
So yummy candy coated.
Hmm?
They're yummy candy coated.
Yes. Yes, Undead Warforged. Alright, and I think I've got, that cost me 5 points, so I got 3 left over.
So I do the Umpqua who are interacting with it basically help make this
The
thing.
first ones,
They
yes.
sort of instigate it and then they
and then
want
they
their own
start
race.
making their own. Yes, cutting down
That'll be
these
interesting.
undead trees and building.
That's how it gets raised. There's no trees left. They're all Warforged.
Yes, that was Mika's plan.
Interesting.
Is the Warforged, the undead Warforged are going to keep replicating and building up.
Do these Warforged have any special traits because they're undead?
Oh yes, Mika has such plans to abuse the rules with these things. There's
God.
yes,
He's like, no.
Yes. Revenants have this thing where when they're making death saves, they can come back from death, and Warforged said all these things about how they improved their death saves. Basically, he came up with a character concept based on the Revenant Warforged that you can't kill them unless you do half their hit points below 0 in a single round.
And then because it's not really relevant.
And then they come
since-
back. They come back the next rounds. If you don't do that, they just get back up and carry on.
So
Kind of like Darian.
Oh, I
the
know what my
opposite
race
is
is going to
always-
be. No.
Anyway,
I already have it.
So
Character.
all right, and its race is growing, and I suppose the
Well, that's
Inquisition
actually-
would be a little bit worried about this, but the obelisk is very convincing that
That's
this
a-
is all a good idea.
it's actually
Very good
interesting because I was gonna say, like, you know, if someone actually played that race, it would come up with a reasonable race, right? It's not you just slap them together and get both
Yeah.
benefits. But since probably no one's gonna play that race anyway, or whatever, it doesn't matter. You could take that into account. Like if they're like super unkillable, it might make an effect on
Yeah.
on what they do. And how
Yeah, they do fall down if you bring them below 0, but they like self-repair.
Right. Yeah, it's
Very
really hard to
quickly.
destroy them forever. Although you
Yeah.
can just bust them. Oh no, yeah.
can you?
I guess it's like Warforged in general, though. Like
Yeah.
in Eberron, like you can knock them down and you have to rip them apart, or
Yeah.
or someone can bring them back.
Yeah, but
Sounds like
these,
a good enemy.
these come back on their own though. So
Yeah, because they're Revenant. Yeah, so they're better than Warforged because like Warforged, you bust them down, they just lay there forever. If someone ever heals them, they're fine.
yeah,
But these guys come back on their own, so you gotta tear them apart to kill them.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah, they're like zombies. They just keep rising back.
Can like what do cards do?
Turn them and stuff.
Turn undead.
Yep.
Work on them?
That would work on them.
Yeah, that's their
And
downside.
anti-undead stuff would work on them.
Can you sneak attack them?
Fire.
Well, yeah, in 4th edition you can sneak attack undead.
Alright.
Her
Oh,
world has changed.
The zombies are even better because, like, you know, if you crit normally in 4th edition, if you crit a zombie, it's useless,
Yes.
right? 'Cause they're
I've
undead,
got
right?
3 points.
4th edition, they go by the rule of, like, you know, if you cut a zombie's head off or destroy the brain, instant kill. So if you crit a zombie, instant kill, no matter what their current hit points are. So it's even better. Oh, sneak attack is not the same as crit, though. Never mind. But anyway,
Alright, so using my legendary figure, Saint Sephiria, she's doing missionary work among the humans, and she gets a following of people who are unhappy with the evil. What's so evil about humans again?
They're warlike and
warlike
and,
they are? Like-
yeah, they're warlike.
They're empire builders.
They've got a lot of warlords and feudal lords and stuff, and they're always squabbling and fighting. They're advanced in the art of war,
Okay.
which is odd because they're the only ones that aren't at war, it seems.
They're unhappy, and she takes them and crosses the Tetrate mountain to the forts and creates a kingdom. And the kingdom of the Sons Folk, which is kind of a Viking-based society. It's SUNDSVOL.
sorry, 1 second. I wasn't quite ready for that.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm ready for the spell.
SUNDSVOLK. So that's with her, let's see. -1. And can I send assassins from you?
From your guys, sure.
No, from your guy.
You'll have to gain influence.
I want to use
So
it to gain
You have to
influence.
pay for that.
Oh, you want my guys to assassinate your martyr?
I need to martyr her now.
I can do that next turn. I get if you want.
I
Um,
need
I
to
can
go
kill
down
her.
a lot more points for.
Oh,
You could just give her
you can make
permission too.
cities. You can make some cities.
All right, yeah.
Oh, having. Well, I guess you don't have to pay for it.
You could have a faction of humans kill her.
Yeah, you'd have to create influence among the humans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
I
gain
can't. All right, can you
Of
kill her
course.
off next turn?
Okay.
You have influence with the elves if you can figure out a way to bring the misfortune upon the
No,
elves.
it's okay.
for-
I need humans to do it.
John,
Okay.
I thought of a property of the Triforce that I want to incorporate. Should I spend points on that, or can I just retroactively make that? So it would be a gameplay thing.
Sure, if it's just
All right.
It's just a thing for world building. For the Triforce, anybody can use it as command legendary entity. It can be used once per age, but it can only be used once in each cycle. But yeah, if anybody wants to use it,
And they can use it to what?
Do whatever.
whatever the
makes sense.
Triforce could do.
So could someone use it as a piece of pie and eat it?
Grant a wish, basically.
Yeah. This isn't the Bobo's big event. But yeah, and yeah, you can use it to.
Advanced civilization.
Well, I assume it'd
Do
be much like Tim's Order of Knights. It would take a point off of.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay.
But it can only be used once per
Actually,
cycle
you're nice.
because it's not a common thing to be found.
So I'm
I'm
Tim's
going to
Knights
make
go in class and find
The
Triforce. And then
You get mine
it'll
too.
take -2. Yeah.
well, I guess I'll use my
And
legendary.
it brings
figure
misery
help.
to the elves, then you get minus 1 on that.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. They don't approve of what
That's
Tim
very
Peacock did.
Yeah, it makes sense.
What did you bring those here for?
Yeah. Leonard is kind of a
I don't think you can use
your
that, actually.
stereotypic ladies'
Why
man.
not?
Oh, wow.
Well, we're already sort of outside the rules here. I mean,
Oh, we are?
well, yeah.
He'd
Creating
be the one.
things for other people to use. You know, it should be. You should be having to spend points to gain influence and all that kind of nonsense. But whatever.
Alright,
Oh, okay.
I'll use 9 points in total to
Would be vaguely like him.
describe. I advance the Sunsfolk. They are a large naval power.
Ah, Drad.
Did you have other plans?
Oh,
The elves, I was
oh,
hoping.
you're gonna navalize them.
You can navalize them.
Yeah,
Just
just like.
opposite sides of the world.
Like basically, I
Fair enough.
Yeah, it says like two people can't advance the same thing. I mean, whatever.
Oh, but
It's
she's
totally-
describing.
No, I advance.
Oh, she's advancing. Alright.
That's fine.
Of
Well,
course, you'll have to
actually,
roll
this is
it
going to
as
be interesting. We'll
6
have one super advanced magic on this side of the world, and one super advanced naval on this side of the world.
Oh,
And one
yeah.
super advanced on that side of the world, and a naval on that side of the world.
I am going to purify
It's
the
like that
Vikings.
fissure is like dividing the
Or
world into two.
Sunsfolk.
Purified Vikings. That's so unlikely.
They
Well,
have horns
they
on
have a
the
Viking-ish
inside.
culture.
Their culture. They.
Yeah, actually,
Aren't they gonna rape and
we-
pillage?
Well, people
They
totally
all-
purified the Vikings, and now they're Norwegians.
They are.
Say that very quietly.
But like humans, they are still warlike, but they're good.
The Norwegians.
Yeah.
They like the good fight.
And shit, 9. Okay.
They only attack to spread democracy in the world.
Yeah, like their longships will kind of show up along the shores and
I
just
have
like
They're not-
present
land and
that. I have apologized.
stuff.
Tim,
Uh-oh. You're getting the finger. What's going on?
stop it. I just created them.
I think
Okay, and I'm gonna make a city.
instead of raping
Oh crap! I never
and
thought of a
pillaging,
name
they
for a
romance
city.
and
I'll
purchase.
tell you the name later. It's really deep.
They romance
romance and
in a
inherit.
perfunctory manner and they
Here.
purchase it very, very reasonable, perhaps
On a peninsula.
no cost.
Bride price.
Romance and then purchase.
Dowry.
Sounds like Norwegians.
Yeah, this is Norwegian. I think Shannon's ancestors were Norwegian.
So they're
Yeah.
Vikings with a really good spin
You're
doctor.
Norwegian too. Here.
Where's my-
Kids will funny than that.
They only rape and pillage bad people.
Alright, and they
Nice.
are going to, as a describe
True lies.
city. I wonder if we should do that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah, but they were all bad.
Sure.
Spreading.
They're going to open trade with the ice map.
Came across the ocean and the Vikings' sons. He used to enforce that
So-
system on them.
So halfway over, the trade ship has to flip upside down.
Or it's dead.
Yep.
Wow. For 13 sons.
Yep.
I'm out of
Oh, that's a lot of cooking.
So,
I can't believe I forgot to think of a name for the city. You got any Viking
There is
names?
not a
Well, I've got enough names.
The EOS
English.
Page.
Does anyone
Oh,
want
let's
to
go on.
celebrate some of the
Let's go.
out of
Emma.
the
It's the
omelet
finisher.
or
When
the
you're done.
omelet
An
stuff?
impressive
That's
lead.
what do you,
I'm gonna make a sub race from the oblin.
Okay.
Let me know if this wrecks something.
Nope. The Oblin are doing what they need to do, and anything else is cake.
an offshoot. I'm going to spend influence and create subrace to do this whole action. They basically.
That's good.
A certain group of the Oblin, after like seeing the Umpqua and what the obelisk did and all that, they come to a new realization that there's a higher law of law and order, and that's like the law of nature and the law of the universe, and it's like more fundamental than all these rules and stuff they've been following. I mean, whether that's true or not is a whole other matter, but that's what they think. So they split off and they become scientific as well. Like they're just about like they are all about discovering the natural world, not about following. They're all about the law of nature, not about the law of lawfulness. And then I guess I'll have them. Wait, I don't know. No, I don't have the points for that. I only have 3 points left, so I can't even make them found a city or anything. So I guess that's all they do.
For now, I guess they're like subversives existing within
Yeah.
Oblin society.
The Oblin are actually, they're not evilly lawful, so they can totally have dissidents living among them. They'll just, the Oblin won't understand what they're doing. They're just like,
Well, they probably
that's
like put them
really
in jail
strange.
or something, maybe.
Well, it's not illegal to be different. It's just different to be different, and the Oblin don't understand that.
So you won't get any zoning permission to build, temples to other things.
It creates great disruption in society.
Hey, Shannon. For the naval stuff, because I was listening to the naval. Would it be cool to? Would it be like I was thinking? My naval would be more
So,
exploration and trade.
Before you roll,
Would that make a nice distinction? Because yours could be naval and kind of combat, and mine could be exploration and trade. Or does that not work? Were you more just thinking like because they could totally just be both naval powers? That's fine.
Well, I do have like a trade thing going here.
Oh, okay. never mind.
But
It's not
They
really
will
exploration.
be
Are they going to be over here?
naval, but they're not at that point yet.
Yeah.
Kind of
I think it's fine to have two naval powers. They
Yeah.
both advance in naval, especially since they're opposites. Kind of makes it interesting. One day they'll meet. But so we had said after 2 rounds we might switch to history. Do we want to switch to history, or do we want to stay in legends?
I think we're getting into history. We've got a bunch of wars on the way.
Yeah, it feels like we're about to start history.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
History begins today.
Yeah. So we're now in the age of
Wami
history.
on Palas.
That does mean when we switched, that means we were gonna. We were gonna roll and start from a new person, right? So that means you don't
okay,
get to go
that's
next.
fine.
But, so
I think I
I.
have a name for the city.
Because I started.
Oh, whoa.
7.
Good roll, Brian.
Brian's sitting some bad pie.
3.
Oh, Brian, there's so much to live for.
I rolled a 3.
I don't even know what I
I
rolled.
want cake.
8.
It's the only thing that will make me feel any better.
11.
5.
I'm a failure as a dice roller.
Okay, 11 sounds like the highest, or did I miss someone?
No, 11's the highest.
Alright, so you start this. Start this
I
roll with it.
We're along.
11.
Wow.
When I see a number, I stick with it.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Dunverlund. This is
Using
This is Dunverlund.
using the Alban Codex thing, I'm going to take some points off from advancing the race to also be a naval power.
Well, actually, that makes a lot of sense because there's actually no naval link between the two seas. So you can be the
It's
power
just
of
the
this sea,
power
they
sea.
can be the
They
power of
already,
that.
they already knew about boats.
Oh, yeah, we don't know what's.
there's
So what
You
happens
can
if this
try and
land
go
just
down
goes off
around
the
there.
map?
Yeah, you're the
By
Eastern
this
naval
time,
power.
you're
and
not-
I will
so-
say about the disadvantage. Well, okay, so that's 6 points.
Well, the only way through is through this shallow sea, and
Waist
then,
deep.
and then the
Yeah.
thing.
and then those whirlpools. It's impassable unless you're really.
Also, I'm going to purify them one.
So you could just go around.
I'm purifying the elves one. They're compassionate. They also they're ready. They're very willing to take on refugees and stuff like that. They're being that they did that themselves, and Tim helped them with that. That's kind of ingrained in their culture. They also found
That's
Sorry, who's this?
Sir Timothy.
certain.
Yeah.
The elves.
Yes, the elves. And they also found a city. The city is someplace that looks really, really bloody safe because these people are pretty.
There's a volcano right here.
It's really big.
Actually,
It's
this,
better
this
than-
island is full of hollow,
It's
twisty
like-
caves.
Ooh, I like it. So they establish
Especially if you're a naval
a
power.
mighty harbor, kind of in the hidden grottos over here.
What
I'll
is
come
it
up
called?
with a name of it. I'll come up with a good name for it.
Here's random names.
Swami.
Oh,
We can always add it later.
Sure.
It's up whenever.
Tidehaven would be a good one because then you can have the tides coming in and up, and at the right tides you can come out.
Yeah, only the
Depending,
right
like,
time.
Once a month, maybe, you can actually get access to this.
I
That would be
love the
annoying.
idea, but not once a month because
Well, yeah. Well,
Well,
maybe,
twice
there
a
are
day.
portions of it that once a month you can come into, or twice a day for the rest of it, and unless you have the right charts, it's impossible.
got it. Also, and those specifically are even nicer than the other people. That's where all the refugees go, a lot of them. So it becomes kind of like a polyglot culture and stuff like that, with all sorts of, like, people from all the races might be there if
Probably
they're
a lot of
outcasts
brown
and stuff
robes.
like that.
Except the Ood.
Why?
Because he wants to destroy you completely.
Refugees shall find no haven.
I'm totally going to go
And
that
that's
scare
terrible.
you now.
Wiggly chin. Come on, Brian. What's not to love?
They can go there as long as they leave their brains behind.
They have 2 brains.
Not on my watch.
Let's speak more.
There probably are one brain dude in the world because they're sort of like it's sort of embarrassing, right? Because if you get your brain cut off, you're only human level intelligence then, and you're sort of considered an idiot, right? So it's probably like, let's go hang out with humans now. I only have one brain.
Can they remove their chin tentacle thing?
I guess they could the same way you could
Does it-
remove your fingers
Well, does it damage?
or your
Are they
nose.
prehensile?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Their chin tentacles are prehensile.
yeah. All their whole
Why else
face
would
is
you
all.
have chin tentacles?
Well, I have no idea. Is it just to feed themselves? Is that what they're for?
Yeah, I guess. So.
I guess they have to hold their brain, so.
I think it's Brian's turn anyway.
Sorry, Brian.
Kill everyone.
Don't worry, I'll
You can
kill
start
them
with
before
Saint.
you.
The Saint, please.
Right, I gotta kill your saint first. Alright,
Kill what rule?
I'll eat some icing and I'll kill a saint. This is a good turn. Alright. So, total points. I got 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 2 is 14 points. Ah. Alright. So I'm gonna kill your saint.
Okay.
It's an event.
Or could it be command civilization? Because
I think so.
This
Yeah.
event specifically says king assassinated followed by power vacuum.
well,
That's
Yeah.
that's like a big event though.
I don't wanna
Like
go
that's
that
like the power
way.
vacuum is really the
Oh, yeah.
event more than the king
In
assassinated.
that case, command, civilization, or city is actually they're not the same thing anymore. So would this be a civilization level command or a city level?
well, if
Well,
it's
it
a
depends
band
what
of
the
assassins,
house. It's just they just assassinate her because they don't like her.
Yeah, because she went and found
I-
this rival power.
And
Well, I
I
think-
also stole a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
a city level thing.
On a long migration.
Assassinating one
Great
person
trial.
can be a city level thing.
It's-
Especially if it's not a
You
post.
see,
It's not like a great fighter or anything.
it seems like it should be cheap because A, you're doing it for someone else,
Yeah.
and B, like it. I mean, I assume Shannon's gonna do something with it, but like it has no effect right now. So
Okay, so 2 points.
yeah, let's
Command
make it
city.
cheap.
An assassin sneaks in, stabs you in the head.
Cool.
Yes.
That's
Look,
very interesting.
you hired me to do this. I'll do it my way, all right?
Okay. Thank you.
I only guaranteed she'd be dead.
That's unfortunate. Can it be just like where in the head?
Multiple places.
Baldur's Gate.
You could just ask him to do what you want.
I'm just like that's okay, fine.
Gotta be sure. People can survive a stab wound to the head.
Martyr statues are generally really gross. You want, like, gore. People like that.
It's
Remember
memorable.
that one we saw in, where was that, in Mexico?
If you really don't want her stabbed in the head, I'll stab her somewhere else. But that
No,
was
it's fine. It's like in the head. What?
She was killed by being stabbed in the bum. They snatched her alive.
Don't do
Good
that.
point. That is good.
Anyway,
They're repeatedly stature in places that you really can't see on a statue.
so you're willing to accept my
Yeah, they
style
teleported
because
a dagger
they're
inside of her and
responsible.
stabbed her in the stomach. And I was just.
All right.
That's really gross.
So now I got 12 points left.
They turned her into a donkey and then slaughtered. I'm just trying to think of the stupidest possible. Alright, no goofiness. Sorry.
Okay. That would be hard to capture in statue form too.
They're just a slaughtered donkey and they're like, yeah, this was Saint so and so. What?
They put a small rock in front of her doorstep. She tripped and fell, so the statue could be. Whoa!
Oh yeah, it's too bad it wasn't the gnomes because they would probably. If it was the gnomes, they'd try to kill her in the most embarrassing way possible.
All right. So the Revenant Warforged will basically tear down all the forests in this area, making more of themselves. That's 8 points.
Are they still living peacefully with the Umpqua who live
As long
there?
as they can get away with it.
Oh, my guys think they're kings of the universe. So, because they don't realize. but-
That was 8. I've got 4 points
That
left.
thing's totally going von Neumann probe on us. Good thing there's only like 2 stories of forest.
Then they'll be hungry, undead, with nothing to eat.
Well, they're plants. They've got.
Yeah, they just can't
And
replicate.
in the zombie movie, I see that turns out pretty well, right?
Let's see. I got 4 points left.
Did they photosynthesize?
No. They're made from trees. They're not actually trees.
Yeah, they cut down undead trees and killed the undead trees to make themselves out of dead trees.
Dead undead trees.
Yeah, they're made of dead undead trees.
Yes. But they're alive. Undead.
Yeah.
They're living constructs made of dead undead trees.
When you chop down an undead tree, it dies?
Only if you chop it down with a holy axe.
Ah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
So was there much like holy axe chopping at one point, so that we actually had a bunch of dead undead trees, or
they don't want the trees. This is complicated. It's not going to be relevant
Doesn't matter.
unless-
everything's gonna get destroyed?
Anyway, so I'm sort of torn between create a city and advance a city. Advance them. Advance their civilization. I can't advance civilization. I'll have them make a city sort of alongside the Umpqua city or like in partnership with a dual city. And its name will be not relevant right now because it's not really a city.
Bin land.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
They haven't exactly founded a new city. They've just got, I guess you could say it's a neighborhood. Like half the city is now this
A quarter.
yeah.
It's a
Half the city is a quarter.
Hey, I want to. Everyone else. You remembering that? Or no, you weren't there for that. I think one of the very first, or not very first, but early on in the first campaign I ran, we came to this city and I described it. And it's like there's this quarter, and this quarter, and this quarter, and this quarter, and this quarter. And they're like, there's 5 quarters. I was like, yeah, it's just like a term that means a part of the city. And that's actually what I thought it was. I was like, it never occurred to me that there would be 4 quarters. I thought, it's just, there could be 7 quarters, right? Because it's just this quarter and
Yeah,
that
that's a
quarter.
really big city. Anyway,
Her city is greater than the value of 1.
Yeah, it's like, Edmonton and Sherwood Park and St. Albert and Beaumont. We've got,
no, I'm out of points now. I got like 1 left.
we've got 16 quarters. Close enough.
Actually, maybe I should have had them raise an army instead. It's the same point cost. Which sounds more like describing that situation. You're like not exactly
Are they arming themselves, or are they just living?
if you can call that living.
Like, are they arming themselves more than for basic defense? Because the army is specifically
Yeah.
for attacking.
Yeah,
Or
not yet.
it's assumed that you
No,
always
not
have a
yet.
defensive
Not
army.
yet. Not yet.
All right.
They're not doing anything suspicious.
The Sunsfolk are really upset. So in a non-upset way, they're gonna make a city. They're not upset yet. This is like, while this is happening, a trade city to help.
This is fertile.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a nice city over here near the ocean. Though. I'll think of a name later.
Okay.
This is a kind of a seasonal trade city. It's highest population during the summer, and there is always some people there, so they can farm nearby area. Well, not farm, but like have herds in nearby areas. It's so they can trade with their trading partners. I'm keeping track of my goals.
I've been too. I've been checkmarking the ones that succeed, and I crossed off the ones that are now impossible.
Okay, so they're going to send missionaries, priests of Saint Sephiria, into the human cities.
All right.
So spreading
Other-
religion.
other cities, yeah.
Well,
You're human. They're all human.
right. That's right. That's right. Into the human cities, so I can gain influence on them via religion. And is that cheaper this time around?
Could be.
Yeah, it's only 4.
Oh, awesome. Check. And a raisin army. They're very upset.
You know, those
A
humans.
navy. A navy.
My warlike humans are the only ones that haven't raised an army yet. I really got to get to that next turn. I think.
I guess they're too big. They're raising armies this whole time, but they're also dying as they fight each other.
That's why they only have 2 cities.
Okay.
But they're the most
Even though they're
advanced in warfare in the whole world.
And they're all using it on each other.
They have the best farmland in the world, but they don't grow too much because they're busy killing each other.
All they
That's
need
why
is
it's
something to
best.
unify
It's
them.
well fertilized
Yeah.
with blood.
Historically,
Actually,
that
rather
works.
than an army, they raise in a navy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Unless they come up that river, I'm all right then.
Okay.
Okay.
Though historically, Viking
Your country, right?
Yes.
You don't have anything there yet.
No.
Do your plans?
Oops.
Not really.
Are you okay if I go raid your ones?
I don't really have
That
a
was
steadfast
In the
plan
name
for
of
anything.
good?
In the name of good. No, go ahead.
Okay.
I actually don't have any plans for humans.
Oh,
Yeah.
Except
Like I have a
some food
vague
if I
plan
get the
on how I'm
opportunity.
going to create my.
alright.
It looks like the
Hey,
wolves
what
are all
was-
over that for you.
Yeah.
What was here again?
Those are Ewoks.
Yeah, they
They're
just
called
stick
the
to you.
Ewoks.
They're not
Stickies. They're called
Ewoks.
sticky or
They're not
something.
They're
furry.
pygmies.
They're
They're
pygmies.
called sticky.
Oh, pygmies.
They
right.
look like, malnourished small boys.
What's this here?
They're very.
That's the
close and-
phoenixes
That's
who live in a giant
gigantic.
tree.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
giant
Started
pomegranate.
with
I have those.
I have a plan for the tree unless somebody prevents me.
Well, it's Mika's tree. but
Okay,
he
now
didn't have
it's
any
gonna be
plans
like
either, so.
angry navy.
Oh, okay.
There's a phoenix or
We're exploration.
There's a
Navy,
race
by
of
the way.
humanoid
yeah, it
phoenixes
hasn't made it
that
to the
live in
angry
tree.
navy. I
They live
don't
in
have
the
any
tree.
reports.
Yes.
So.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't remember that.
So,
Are you
um,
going to set fire to the tree?
No.
They literally.
No.
Well, you can go
Angry
around.
navy.
kind of. There's this waist deep.
Yes.
No, but even then, that connects to this,
You need-
which
which
is
is-
then
You
Yeah.
just don't know.
Essentially, you can sail through the shoals.
You can't really sail through that though.
You need a
Yeah.
really shallow drop.
And then you have to find a way to get through the
Did that ever
whirlpools.
come across, like,
And you
I
have to pass
definitely
the
wanted
deep sea
the advanced I get to the elves to be more exploration-y.
If I can
rather than-
just interject
Oh.
here, there's none of this is attached to the edge, so
Yeah,
you can go around.
You
Oh,
can
okay.
go around. It's just a tough sail because, like, you have to be a good sailor because there are reefs along
So
there.
you might
Yeah.
need to have the Magellan basically figure out the way to
Yeah,
get through
yeah.
it all.
But it does totally make sense to have two nations that are the best in the world at seafaring because they develop on alternate sides
Oh
of the
yeah,
continent.
yeah. Fills the
Yeah.
void. Yeah, absolutely.
Until someone digs a canal across that little isthmus.
And of course, they're both good. So like when they meet, they're all like, "Hi."
Now we will exchange words.
Yes, yes.
Perhaps you will like this gift.
So we're like Vikings. Our state was murdered. Oh, we're elves. Our civilization was murdered. Oh yeah. We're hiding from the world.
Do you have any refugees you could send us?
We make refugees occasionally, but only bad refugees.
Yeah.
Oh, we
No evil ones that will betray your cities.
There's nice
Well,
island
we'll
of
take
caves
them
if you want to hide.
Alrighty.
I'm sure you people won't do
That's
nothing
fine.
better.
Turn that. Alright.
It's just a million places to hide. I mean, it'll all turn out.
I'm just trying to think of it. I never actually named the Oblin subrace. I was thinking of giving them a name.
Would you like a random name from my book?
I'm just trying to think.
Call them the Ugbears.
They are still fairly lawful, so they'd probably call themselves something based like they're
Scuba Bay.
I mean
Well, I've got a list of the fun. You're welcome.
they're kind of scientists, so like
I just might not be able to read it very well.
but I don't want to just call them scientists because that's lame. Also, the Unfa are fairly scientific too.
The Monim.
Oblinus. Oblini. Oblinus.
The pan-oblins. Because
Pan-oblin.
they
Yep.
consider their natural law, which is higher, so they're the pan-oblin.
Pan-oblin.
Whereas the oblin are kind of built
Pan-oblin.
by the waystones to seal this chasm.
Actually, that is they do think of themselves as superior to the Oblin, so that kind of makes sense. I
How
call
about
them
Hey
Uber Oblin.
Heyo.
The
Boblin.
Uber Oblin.
Except the oblin called them the deserters.
So
So, what's their name?
the Pan-Oblin.
Mm.
So they apply their like super rigorous methodologies, and like they're just like they're single-minded about like inquiry and whatnot, as the Oblin are about being lawful, and so they advance very quickly. They also become one of the uber magical races very, very quickly, like way faster than either of the other ones. Like they just and they.
Are you using advanced civilization to make them the best at advancing?
Well, I'm using them as like magic, just like the other one. Actually, I guess I should. Well, yeah, I'll say magic.
So we've now got 3 civilizations that are the best in the world at that.
They're like uber
2 at
magic,
architecture.
and
2 at
they
me.
found 2 cities, and already like their 2 cities they found are as awesome as like the
I'm gonna
Galuda
take
or
all
the
your
Udqua
advancements
cities.
from
Like
They couldn't possibly. My city has been around for so long. And we are the best.
that's why everyone thinks that they're
We're
really
the best
annoying.
at both sides. of the Atlantic.
Okay, I haven't made them the best at both those yet. So
I hate them.
yeah, they are quite hateable because they're
Well, I
like.
would if I
They're
knew
like,
them.
we're the best, and then they're like, we're the best. Everyone's like, yeah, you're upstarts, and they're like, we just built that city in like 10 years, and everyone's like, we hate you. I'm not gonna name them because I don't know of a name, but
Oh, right, I have to think of a name.
They're pretty close.
I need an
I'll
Icelandic
just call them.
No, I didn't see any other really good.
Panopolis?
Quancho.
Panagopolis?
They're still pretty lawful, so.
Nordvik?
Corvar.
I want a Vic
Oh,
in
yeah.
this.
Corvair?
I know.
I'll just call them.
I'm Moonbat.
What's Vic?
Panago.
IKEA.
Got it.
Okay, I'll name their cities' names are Alpha and Beta.
I have
Ah, they're
I
big.
this one. Attervik.
Alphos.
guess the other one will be here.
And I've still got 5 pages of pony names waiting for use.
So you're just holding it over us at any moment.
So and so. That's a good name.
Did you say 5 pages of funny names?
Pony names.
Oh, ponies.
And that's, I spent all my points on that, so.
Oh, these are all like actual characters?
Yes, from G1 through 3.5.
Oh.
I didn't take any of the G4s because they're too recognizable.
Nice.
Although some of the
I
G4s
wrote
are
Saturn
use
so.
the names of earlier
Oh,
generations
I
that
feel
are in
like
there,
for one of
like
those.
Ron and stuff are in there.
I lost track.
Wow.
H-A-T-I-R-B-I.
Yeah, I went to the wiki and I just collected all the names and then I sorted them and eliminated duplicates, and a couple of things slipped through, like there's Chuck E. Cheese Pony in here. Which was like some promotional thing that didn't actually have a name. It was just listed as Chuck E. Cheese Pony. And I tried eliminating all those. But that one slipped through. I'm not going to use that one.
Oh,
I
that's
should
the
name one after
best.
my pony. She had little
Okay.
hearts on her rump with wings on them.
Heart
Pony could be in the
Yeah,
Chuck E.
she
Cheese
was
wagon
Letter
races.
love. Yeah, that was stupid.
Sorry, what?
The Chuck E.
Yeah.
I
Cheese
called
wagon
her Letter
races.
love.
What was yours originally called?
Heartthrob. And she's her head on the side like this.
Okay, so
Sad looking.
the Oblin enlists the aid of Aristeni's Knight of the Owl to seek allies. Essentially, I'm looking to ally with either the Merfolk, the Elves, or the Nords.
Which
Suns,
merfolk?
Sunslanders.
Against the...
There's the corrupted ones that
They need to get. Oh, those are corrupted.
Those ones are corrupted.
They're corrupted, but that doesn't necessarily mean
They get
they're
distorted.
Oh, weren't there also crocodile ones that live
Those
in the
are, yes,
salt
These
marsh?
are-
the Mire
These are the
Maids.
Mire Maids.
They're
Mermaids.
uncorrupted.
Yeah, the
Nobody's
mermaids. The Oblin aren't really looking to ally with corrupted
This is
merfolk
against
unless they
who?
have to. Well, they need to get around the raging sandstorm desert, and they aren't particularly named.
Because these guys
Yeah,
aren't
elves.
bad. Only these guys are bad. I don't know if these
fits-
guys know
that
the
fits our
difference.
racial
These guys are
description.
bad.
The Mire Maids would,
they're not
would
so
be
much
able to help you across.
Trying to fight bad people, they're trying to get their obelisk back / punish the unlawful theft. Because they refuse to accept the obelisk thing.
If you
for itself.
perhaps de-emphasize or do not tell the elves that, hey, what we're trying to do...
Well, it's lawful. It was stolen from them.
Yeah, Oblin are all about
We have
a
all
lot
the,
of
We have no problem
subterfuge.
ferrying you. We'd be less ferrying if we think we're going to go at war.
we have all these heavily armed refugees that need to find refuge in
And
that
the knight
enemy
survives.
city over there.
They'd go for that. They'd be like, oh, okay, sounds smart to me.
Where we're going home, right? We need to go home to our
So
city.
they do enlist the help with the elves?
They do
can-
enlist the help of the elves, and with the help of the
They trick
elvish
them?
navy, they skirt their army skirts the
The Mire Maids would have been able to help with that.
yeah.
But can the
Yeah,
elves go through this really shallow water?
Okay, elves and
Yeah,
they ally with the elves and the
They have
yeah,
special
Barges
ships
and
for it.
skiffs and stuff.
Yeah.
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 Shoot, I
The
should
elves
have
and
my...
The sun's folk don't.
Oh,
the elves and the Mire. Well,
It's okay,
if they'd
you've
allied
got an
with the
army
Suns
too,
folk,
so-
they'd have gone through that straight there. But and then they attack Sadr because Sadr happens to be in the way.
I was just about to bury them.
You were about to bury Sadr?
Well,
No, it's
this-
okay.
this-
Oh, okay, you know
This
what?
can be part of
They can bypass Sadr
No,
if,
no, no.
if
They can
Sadr's
be
looking
buried
to
as part
hide.
of it.
Yeah, they could be in it when it gets buried. They're like, they go in there to attack and then it gets buried.
Well,
Well, no, something they do is what causes it to be buried.
Yeah.
What
Well,
were you
these
gonna
guys
do?
were gonna dig down because they see, because they're very like self-focused, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're
These
running
guys
out of
have
water.
stolen the obelisk. This is a different city, same race, different group. So these guys are like, we don't want to interact with the outside world at all anymore. We just want to focus on ourselves. We see danger here. These guys are going to come looking for us.
Well,
so they
you
were
know
going to
what?
dig down and make like
turn orders
tunnels.
if you want.
And sand?
Understand.
Magic
Well, I can you can,
and science.
well, yeah, I can totally say that you guys were doing that at the time,
Okay,
and
so you can creep
So
a
the
bunch
army-
of
frankly,
The army
or
arrives in the
they can even say no obelisk here. It went that way towards the corrupted
Well,
city,
I was thinking.
and then the Oblin will totally go right by you.
I was
because-
thinking I'd make tunnels and then sandstorm the top.
It actually might,
Well,
it
if
might
you go
set
down,
that off too, because
Your guys go into tunnels.
It could
and
be
then
one of those things
this
where
army
them
arrives-
coming.
arrives in an
It's like,
empty city,
hurry!
and they're like, "Well, I guess we'll
Throw
raise
caution.
the place, and then
Or-
move on, because that's what we do."
Okay.
Well,
The-
they
the-
don't. The Oblin really aren't in the way of raising. They're more in the way of occupying and enforcing the law.
Well, they're searching for stolen goods, so they want
Yeah.
to.
The other thing
Anyhow,
is, if the
yeah.
Oblin do just ignore it, that might still freak out the mages. It might be the impetus, like,
Yeah.
we could have just got attacked by those Oblin. Let's screw the surface world and go under.
Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't get attacked by them, but like, some
Next time we
random.
might not be so lucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, the Oblin bypass Satyr and attack
Rakshi.
Rakshi.
Now, they-
Where they meet,
I don't
I
see.
guess.
We have one army and
Yes,
there's a bunch of
slaves
warforged
in
there
the
too.
oh,
Yeah, well, I mean, but I
not
think he built
currently.
his own kind of his
Hi, I
own
can
city.
influence
Yeah,
her.
there's
So there's
like,
basically 2 cities versus 1 army of Oblin.
but you had the what are they called?
The knights.
Umquat. The
Oh.
Umquat raised an army.
Yeah, their army would be here because these are the guys who are.
So,
So
it's an army
essentially
versus an army.
Yeah, an army versus
This
an army, and there are
legendary
2
figure.
cities worth of people there. So,
I'm okay with dying if you want to get it back.
well, I think that the
But I
Oblin.
think the warforged should live because they're interesting.
Oh, yeah, certainly the Warforged will live.
Well,
I'm
we
just
can-
going to
we
say
can
that
certainly
the.
have a brutal war that causes a whole lot.
I was
of-
about to make these guys
devastation.
maybe flee for the mountains because they're realizing their warforged are getting out of control.
Well, what you can do is you can have the Warforged be more concerned with making more Warforged, and the Umquat suddenly realize that they can't command these soldiers. That these soldiers actually aren't answering to their
Yeah.
will, but to the Obelisk's will.
And maybe
And
they
then-
try to escape this way and
So
run
they
into
take-
the army.
So their army takes the brunt of the casualties. I mean, the Oblin army is crossing a desert to fight with really extended supply lines there, so they're probably not going to win this one, but they can devastate the Umqua army and basically make the Umqua realize that their position is untenable.
Well, I'm thinking maybe just a few Umqua would survive this city and they can refugee out this way. And then these
And then
guys
pass
will go
the
down
mountains?
underneath. And then, are you guys going to take the obelisk for that? Obelisk?
No,
'Cause I don't
no,
think
they're
you can get it from the Warforged, right?
they're not going to be able to make it.
Yeah,
I assume it's
the
sort of mutual
Warforged-
annihilation. The Undqua army gets toasted, and the Oblin army gets toasted, and the Warforged are
The Warforged
And the
are
Warforged are like,
survivors.
well, that saves us some trouble.
It would be a very magical
The
battle,
obelisk
though,
is
right? 'Cause you guys
everything
are-
would according to
They're
plan.
powered by the Waystones, but they're actually
That's not
more
so
just
my
legions of armies marching
Actually,
instead.
no, that
Because
was
my
a
guys
lucky
are all
draw.
into science and magic, so they have like catapults that shoot.
But if you're in charge, don't say that. You're like,
You know,
yes.
It'd be quite a. It'd be a lot of fireworks.
Basically,
Plan Z now.
the Oblin have really good. I'm seeing the Oblin as people who
They're
have
like
good saves, but not
Stargate.
particularly
Yeah.
magical.
Because when you say science and magic, I think alchemy.
So the Warforged, there will be a great war between all the organic beings, and the machine race will basically be keeping their heads down and hoping it
They
all
could just
goes
hide them in the sand or something, right?
Well,
Rakshi's destroyed then,
We
right?
totally didn't want to have a huge
So John, the
apocalyptic
city of
war. What's
Rakshi's
going
been
on here?
destroyed,
Okay.
basically. Or it'll just. I mean, all the people are gone.
yeah. Destroyed but not looted. That's the best way.
Yeah, for the future.
There was nobody to loot.
And the Warforged don't. They just like
Well,
You're
Okay.
like, you want a robe?
the Umquire. The Umquire are giving orders that defend the west half, defend the western walls.
no, we're moving the
Warforged
obelisk
like-
to secure quarters.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're leaving. We'll stand behind you.
Yeah.
Or,
and
or worse, yeah, we'll be there.
You any minute. You can see it like
Yeah.
the Oblin just barely win. They kill all the Undqua. They're like there's like 50 of them left, and then they're like, all right, boys, take those ones out. And
Yeah.
or vice versa. Yeah.
How are we doing
Warforged
this?
can be
After
on
the sister,
survivor
we have a
finishing.
legend, history.
yeah, so we'll go back to
Okay, so
Legends
your turn good?
Or just
Okay.
after
yeah, that's,
some
Let's see.
history.
that's it. I was just like trying to
I'm expecting
space
towards.
out my catastrophes.
Add 7, spend 2, and then 4.
So John,
Oh wait.
to get these guys to dig, would that be at 3 points?
7, 2, yeah. Okay.
To like
I'm done.
modify city or something?
Probably a describe city
Wow, that's 1 point.
or command city. Actually,
Yeah,
Because I
command
want
city.
Command.
basically
Oh yeah,
them to.
command city.
That's what
still.
command city's for.
Where's
Yeah.
that? 2?
Oh, that's cheap.
Okay. Well, it's kind of move cities basically, because I want them to move it down low. And then these guys, there's going to be refugees going to the mountains. Would that be 2 points?
Command city. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, that
Now
works
for me,
perfectly.
Figaro Castle in Final Fantasy VI.
Okay, so there was this Red Knight. His name is Leonard. Leonard of the Rose. And Leonard,
Sir Leonard of the Rose.
Sir Leonard of the Rose. And Leonard was really into the whole romantic knight thing. He had these ideas of what it meant to be chivalrous and whatever. And
Was he wearing shiny armor?
unfortunately for Leonard, the person that he tried to try his chivalry on was Eris. And she thought this would be pretty funny. So she seduced Leonard,
Sir Leonard.
Sir Leonard, and convinced Leonard that they
Sir
were
Leonard.
Sir
In
Leonard,
bed.
that they were made for each other and they were soulmates. And the one way that their souls could be bonded together for all eternity was to bond them into the very heart wood of the great pomegranate tree. So Eris,
What did the Phoenix
For-
think about this?
they didn't know until after it happened. Eris somehow convinced Leonard of this.
Sir Leonard.
Sir Leonard. And now the great pomegranate tree has Sir Leonard's soul in it and is now a sentient great pomegranate tree. And its wood turns sort of rose colored. Oh, he didn't die. So he's
That's good,
still
the tree's
alive.
still alive.
The tree, he's sentient, and Eris's soul obviously did not give up because she was lying. Do I need to use some kind of relic or something to do that, or because she's
think
a
that's-
legendary creature, can she just do that?
I think what happened is you gained influence on the tree and used -1, and it was at -1 cost because you used one of your entities to do it.
Oh,
Who
makes
was
sense.
Eris
You got
again?
influence on the
I used 2
phoenixes.
entities, so I just had mine.
-2 then.
Sure, that makes sense.
Oh.
Doesn't say you can do that in the rules, but that makes a lot of
That's
sense. I mean, if you
surprisingly
had a
cheap.
story that fit perfectly with 2 entities,
Yeah.
you totally deserve to.
So if you use all
Who was
those
Eris?
areas, you get more
Eris is the
points back.
fairy of
You actually
the
get
mischief
more.
fairy. She's the mischief fairy.
I don't think you could do anything that actually gets you points back. That would be
Oh.
So, who made these phoenixes? That was
all something.
Mika, right?
Yeah.
Did he have plans? Did he
Nope.
communicate?
No, he just.
He said he had no plans.
He had
The reason-
plans for the obelisk.
Yep, and they're mostly fulfilled at this point.
And so since
But I
you're the
have
only one
some
with
further
influence
plans.
on the phoenixes, you can do what you like with them.
Well, do I
Which
naturally
was the only thing he
Well,
said.
gain influence now that I have
Yeah, that's
No.
what.
tree influence?
I think that's what the influence when you were paying for was.
influence over both the phoenixes and the tree.
Because
Well,
they're separate things.
the tree is geography, whereas
Yeah.
the phoenix
That's
is a
true,
race. I would
that's
think
true.
that's
Yeah, but
fair.
they were always tied to the tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what he said about these phoenixes? Like what
Nothing.
They
It's
like-
just there's a race of phoenixes
And
there.
he did tell me why he did this. There was a cartoon called Pirates of Dark Waters, and in it there was a phoenix that liked eating pomegranates.
Okie dokie.
This is the whole reason
Well-
why there's a race of humanoid phoenixes living in the giant
It
pomegranate.
makes sense in Finland.
Well,
So he had
After-
no plans for them. They're
No.
just a race of phoenixes.
so I'm thinking like after many years of living in Sir Leonard branches, they're gonna slowly be influenced by his romantic ideals. And so these phoenixes are going to be quite
Non-phoenix.
yeah.
They're lovebirds.
So I guess that's some kind of
That'd be described as
That would be yeah.
It's a burning love, I guess. Sorry. That's the
Wow.
word.
something like that.
Well, I suppose it's good that there's at least one nice place in the world.
Hey, these are both lovely places.
Yeah, I like those.
So if I want to create a really giant creature, is that
That's
that
a
could just be a
legendary
legendary entity?
Yeah, like
So that's
we've already
8
got
right now,
Titan
right?
over
Oh,
there.
I have one for next
I just
day.
want to create a
Still
little
pounding
Robert's been forever. I'm waiting for Robert to attack the Ood because it's going to be exciting.
Because
But
my
it
turn
has-
was skipped because the turn order changed.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
I'll wait till later.
Well, I'll get the same number of turns, but it's just
Yeah.
that Robert had to wait a long time for his turn.
So if I have more than 5, I don't get my
Right,
my
right.
bonus, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good. Ding.
Would you mind popping up and turning on the heat? I do it myself, but I need to be recording.
I will. Here you go, lover.
Okay.
I totally attacked the city and
Yeah.
8 points
You
plus
got
my
first
3
blood. I
is
think that's the
11.
first city that's been destroyed in the world.
Huh?
Yeah.
Damn
What?
goblin.
Command the dwarves to create another city. Let's make it over here.
Oh, going through the mountains.
Yeah. They live in the
Reach to
mountains.
the empty mouth.
This one is called Dakan, D-A-K-A-N. And I'm going to command the city to fortify this side of the mountain. So now this whole range is fortified.
The dwarves fight a war very defensive.
They use base creep. That's their.
Although it actually will be
style.
interesting because like when these races are long dead, they'll just be like these hugely fortified like
Yeah.
square mountains.
Yeah.
and all these magical defenses that are still half active. And,
It's reminiscent of the Great Wall of China, except built even more sturdy. And,
There's one, the Maginot Line. How about that?
Yeah.
The Maginot Line had like
Except
fortresses
actually bigger.
all along there.
and effective.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that.
characters are going to live in a world full of
Maginot
black
Line might
market.
have been effective.
If the Germans had attacked the Maginot Line, it would have been
Well,
effective.
perhaps one could say it was
6
effective.
points.
It made them attack Belgium instead.
Plus, I believe the Germans did actually use the guns to fire on the French army during the during their retreat.
I told them when they were building the Maginot Line, don't build the turrets so they can turn all the way around. That's not a good idea.
Alright, the dwarves are going to attack the Ood.
Any particular city, I assume. I guess.
They can attack anything they want. They
Yeah.
can got the Ute surrounded,
Well,
except for that farthest back one there.
Yeah, let's start with this city here.
All right.
So I assume they attack with their gigantic titan.
Yeah, so I guess that's at a -1.
I think we should all do this.
So that's going to be an epic battle.
Are you gonna roll?
Well, I'm not. I mean, it's a huge battle. I don't really care what happens to the Ute in the long run, as long as there's a couple cities left for me to destroy.
Yeah.
So I don't care if they win or lose this battle. Maybe should we say the dwarves win and destroy their city, but the Titan is wrecked in the process?
Are you ready for that to be right?
Or downgrade their army to their horde to an army, or
How about we roll for it? And if the dwarves lose, that's what happens.
Which one?
Ooh, how
I'll
about-
roll for that too.
How about the Ood managed to destroy enough of the Titan's waystones that it goes out of control?
Or that could be one of the things that if you roll badly, that's
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
Well, we could have.
You need to decide
No.
what your options are
Well, let's
so
see.
we can roll for it.
If we want to roll for it, we could do like we could roll. We could roll for how each one does. So, like, if the Ood do badly, their city gets wrecked. If the
Yeah.
dwarves do badly, their Titan gets wrecked, and those could both happen.
Yeah.
Or I
And
guess
then
they
one
could
can
both.
still
Do,
win than the other.
yeah, if they both do, the only problem is if they both do well, what happens?
Then it's
Well,
a
no.
stalemate, I guess.
Well, if they do, then one still rolls better than the other. So it could be,
So you keep
know.
rolling until one does better.
Well, I guess. How about if they both? Well, yeah, because I'm
I think
thinking
a
like.
stalemate should be a possibility. You could
Yeah.
have a stalemate where both armies survive, or a stalemate where both armies are wrecked.
Because
But
as far as pure force goes, you're both at a horde, basically.
Yeah, they're both extremely powerful
They're-
forces.
What about 1 and
Well-
2 is bad, 2 and 3 and 4 is like medium, and 5 and 6 are good?
Well, I was thinking, is there really room for like? So I think a stalemate is not really that interesting. So maybe we should just do like 1, 2, 3 is bad, 4, 5, 6 is good. Because what would medium
Well, you could
be?
even just roll.
Medium
opposite
is you
roll.
both got destroyed.
Well, but I'm thinking it'd be cool if it's possible for both to end badly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Roll
So-
opposing, but if both are, but if your roll is below, is 1, 2, 3 or below, then you get your bad thing that happens.
So one side wins no
What-
matter what, but also it could be that they both
What about
don't really suffer
If
hugely
you
besides the loss.
roll the same number, you get destroyed.
That's not going to be very likely, though. Well, I guess that's fairly likely. Well, what if we just did?
No, it's not very real.
Oh, if we
4
did.
and 6.
What if we just did 1 to 3 is bad, 4, 5, 6 is good. If we both roll good, we just re-roll because that's kind of a boring stalemate.
Okay.
Until somebody gets
Until
destroyed.
at least one of us rolls bad.
Yeah, so low is bad, high is good.
Yeah, so 1 to 3 is bad. You rolled 1, you rolled 4. So
You're destroyed.
yeah, so the Ood.
Is this the Ood versus dwarves?
Yes.
I mean,
It's a colossal. This is the.
Oh, I was gonna,
Where is
yeah.
it happening?
I was gonna take a
happening
photo.
around
I guess I
the
should have done that before. Oh, it's my phone.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here it is. I was gonna take photos of the board before major elements were erased, but
Nothing's
I guess
been erased yet.
Well,
okay.
I took
Yeah,
that
she
part-
is
part of
erased.
it.
That hasn't been erased, even though it should be erased. I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
I,
like-
I,
I
drew,
crossed
I drew
it
a
out.
line to indicate that there's the new border.
Let me just take a photo of that area, and then you can erase the city or whatever you want to do.
I want my mages to like make strange magical
erase
things,
her,
and then
we
all the
should
mages to die.
Well,
and
there's gonna be
strange
Put
magic.
a strike through it.
It's
There's
not
gonna be. I imagine, like, especially with the cataclysms. Maybe, yeah. Let's just maybe do photos of the cataclysms, because I suspect there'll be cataclysms that wipe out whole races to like plains and stuff. So that we're gonna be building new cities on top. So
Well, I can always trace using tracing paper and
That's-
make another paper.
huge amount of work.
No.
I'll just take a photo. That's good enough. Because we just need it for documentation.
So we know where the ruins are.
The big thing is I just wanted a photo. Yeah, I wanted a photo of this city
I got
because I'm about to erase it because it got totally busted.
Well, it's going to be replaced with ruins now. Yeah, so, ruins.
John, there's a big eraser in there.
No, there isn't. Oh,
So that's what happened. That Ood City just got wiped out.
I assume so. I assume the dwarves took some casualties too.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I think, especially since I'd like a couple Ood cities to survive so I can wreck them, so
Yeah.
probably that
Like-
will make the dwarves need to reinforce themselves.
I imagine if I would have rolled a 6, then the dwarves would have done super well. But I rolled a 4, which meant they probably took some losses.
Yeah,
I
can't
downgrade
really
your
push
board to
their-
an army and say that the Ood lose the city, but keep their hordish magical defenses around these
Yeah.
cities.
I did roll a 1 on here, so it makes me think that like something went horribly wrong in their defenses and like their uber magical defenses, some critical point failed and they were very useless and they got just smashed.
Rebels got to the shield generator.
So maybe the entire, all of your magical defenses are no longer hordes for right now?
What are the rules for
Well-
spending a catastrophe? Can you do it at any time, or does it happen on your turn?
It happens on your turn.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if you really, it's flexible, right? If you have like the awesomest idea ever to interject, then, but
But first, you have to spend the points to make it the awesome site.
Yeah.
Do we get a
Well,
free catastrophe?
I get 2 free catastrophes. that
How
I
big
use.
is a catastrophe? Oh, it's 1 inch.
It's
Yeah.
1 inch.
basically enough to destroy a city or
how big is a cataclysm?
big as you want. You can do anything. You can do absolutely anything you want as long as it's destructive.
And
Well-
you can spend 10 points to make it a 2-inch catastrophe.
No, cataclysm.
Cataclysm.
How
sorry.
are you using this
Oh, sorry,
Titan
you're
thing?
right. You did.
You get
Do whatever
2
you
free
want.
catastrophes anyway.
I'm gonna do my
As long as it's interesting, I'm fine with
cataclysm
whatever
here second
happens.
day.
But I still have 4
Wow.
points left to
Second-
spend.
Round's gonna be
What do I wanna do?
What is a cataclysm?
It's just it's a very open-ended thing.
It's you get to stomp all over the world.
Yeah.
Oh, it affects the whole world.
Yeah,
So
like-
the catastrophe affects
For example, I'm planning to do a catastrophe that wipes out all the magical races at once. So
Ooh.
I thought that was a secret.
no, I've been saying that since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just gonna hold on to those 4 points because I don't know what to do with them right now.
Okay.
Anybody with
Alright.
magic?
Yeah, it's gonna.
I get so focused on my
Is it gonna
own planning,
wreck
I
that?
miss
Is it
a lot of
gonna
what's
wreck
happening.
the sustainability magic here?
No, but it might hurt their. It won't wreck their buildings. It,
Oh, no,
it might it might wreck them, but it won't wreck their
Don't
buildings.
know what this
Oh,
would
they
be.
won't be there anymore.
I do not know how to point this out, but what the elves are doing are they're exploring with their ships and stuff like that. Well, I guess the first thing they want to do is they go ahead and they build a horde of ships, primarily because they're scared of stuff over there.
Oh,
Because there's no other real naval powers, but they're pretty scared.
naval power.
No, the good guys are building hordes.
Yeah, it's the good ships.
But they're also exploring along the way because that's kind of what they're best at. They're trying to figure a way around. They haven't yet. They're also establishing beachheads all along here and making these elvish monuments and stuff like that, which are actually this intricate kind of. They're established in very specific places to build a ward of protection along this entire way to help against X. I don't know what that would be. I do not
that's
know,
nice.
because it'd be basically here
Command
and there.
civilization,
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
a
Command civilization.
Okay.
And if you're planning on doing it along the entire coast, you might even have to do it twice. Because you're affecting huge swathes of
Yeah.
coastline.
Well,
Each-
it's,
each
the thing is,
individual
it's
one
here
is
and
not-
there. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
there may be 15 for the entire thing.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, it's
that would
it's
probably be one command
command
civilization.
civilization. It's like you're building a bunch of lighthouses.
Okay.
They're not
they
individually. They're not.
are they
a
like
city, but
lighthouses?
collectively
Only
there's-
like
Plan for your
Word
alpha
like?
beta.
what do they
No, I
physically
just
look
wanted
like?
more uber magical.
I was
sense
actually
to
sort of imagining
I don't
that
really care
each
about
one
them at
has a
all.
tree.
What attributes?
And the tree is
they're
built
still quite
to be.
lawful, but they're like super.
they're trying
they're
to
like
make the trees
very
immortal
precise about
because
about
they're part of
science
the
and
room,
magic because
Are they
they're like.
interested in
the
commerce?
ward. And then there's kind
They'd be
of
really good
stonework and stuff
economists.
like that with a
Because
bunch
they
of their
should
elvish
just,
runes and
make
stuff
a
like
little
this. They
canal
are using
right there.
the codex
Yeah.
build the
and
canal.
knowledge from the
And
codex
then
because
become
that's
commercially
built
awesome.
into the runes.
If their
Because they would
themes
have
are trees, I
tools.
wonder if they can incorporate Sir Justin into their
They're
their
sort of-
ward.
They're sort of.
Oh,
Right,
would
kind
you
of,
like
yeah.
that?
Sir
Like
Leonard?
Leonard?
Sir Leonard.
Yeah, Sir Leonard, that he happens to be on one of the spots that they would like to build the room. Would
What's
Sir
the
Leonard
miss?
be
You have to
okay?
get over
Is it
that.
romantic?
Provided they use like a bunch of really attractive elves, the phoenixes will be all for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, you have to get there
Do the
first.
elves
That's a
like
long
singing
ways
and
away.
dancing?
You kind of got to walk in here and
Oh, but the,
But you
the
have to
elves
or
can
go
walk in.
sail around.
Yeah, they have a huge
Yeah.
navy, so they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, they haven't been able to find a way around yet.
you probably want to put down a few markers to show where the elves are building these ward thingies.
So what happened?
and
What did I
then my,
miss?
my last command
So
is
I'll tell you as soon as
to send my expedition of the elves are actually going inland and trying to make contact with the dwarves.
Okay.
They're trying to establish trade.
Right.
Xenophobic dwarves. They're doing
Good
their
luck.
best.
Good
How
luck.
are they doing this?
You may decide how this winds up. Do our envoys come back?
If they go up here, they'll pass like the salt
They'll get
dragon.
attacked by the
They're
salt
gonna-
dragon.
so-
But
How
then
are
they
they
can
doing
get
this?
to
They're really good. Well,
They
they've
can't
got
get
a
there.
board. They're a really good navy.
Why can't they get here?
Because they're salt dragons.
They can just go. They can
Yeah,
fight the
they're-
salt
They're-
dragons.
remember the salt dragons?
Salt
are like
dragons are
attacking
not
here.
impenetrable.
It just means that
They're willing to for the exploration. They have to establish their ward. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They have to fight their way through.
and they're
salt
really
dragons,
good
but that's what they
at
do.
navy work. So you know they can sail through the fog. They can do what they have.
Shoot their ballista at the salt dragons.
yeah, they'll probably the furthest northern
I
dwarven
don't think
city.
she had.
So you may decide what happens to our well meeting. Hey, we're just a bunch of elves.
Whatever happens when elves walk into a
No,
dwarf
that was-
fortress.
We have trade goods.
Come
Why
to
not
our
be happy?
trade depot.
They're really nasty, right?
Yeah, they're.
You may decide on your own turn how that works out.
Yeah, that's what
Never
I
you
was-
mind that the trade depot's walls are glowing
That's it.
orange.
That's my turn.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, except for the dwarves have only seen you. They're like, there's more races to hate? Yes!
This is gonna be so great.
Oh, you're so happy to
that's
see
how
them.
I'll save my 2 Ood cities, because I'll be like, screw the Ood, they're hard to kill, these elves.
All right, I got 13 points.
Well, it is -1 to do anything bad to us.
I'm assuming the dwarves are aware of the humans and the salt
I'm
dragons.
sure they are, yeah.
And probably the phoenixes.
I'm sure they are too. But I was just sort of
And they don't like them.
jocularizing.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have our
They might be aware of the ice mer, but it's hard to say.
No. They're not. They are.
Yeah, the mer and the like.
The
mermaids,
don't
mermaids
get
and
around.
dwarves don't actually. They can't really interact much.
Yeah,
because
like
they're
it's doubtful
very different
they would
elements.
interact. It's
Mer-
possible they might in the future, but it's
The mer.
hard to say.
That's why they had to make a city here to trade.
Right.
Because the mer don't go places.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay,
Whoa! I wish they were a little bit closer. So.
so I have enough points for the Warforged to cut down this portion of the forest and build more of themselves.
I thought they already did that.
And they cut down just 1 square of the forest.
boy.
I was going to cut down a 2nd square of the forest. You wanted that forest gone, right?
Whatever, I don't care.
Okay.
You got a photo of
We'll,
it, right?
Yes, I did.
I don't care about the forest. You
We'll
can
leave a little bit there. It's a nature preserve. That'll preserve the.
In that case, you should probably erase it and just leave that bit there. Because
Yeah.
if you got a photo, that's all we need.
go. There's erasers. There should be white ones
Right there.
Well, there's new.
Whoa.
Leave,
That
like,
one's new. It's already
One
open.
tiny little stump in each
Oh, yeah,
square.
two.
Yeah.
You can open that one if you want.
That's a Okay, there's another one in
You
here.
have like infinite, like John bought like 47 packs of erasers.
You can never have too many erasers.
Because
Okay, that's a good reason.
They are delicious.
he also bought 4 boxes of pencils.
Oh,
When you run out of something, when I run out of something, I like to make sure I never run out again.
there's logic behind
My
that.
wife and I have this discussion
I
about
won't tell you how
diapers
many
every
he
now and
buys.
then. And I say that, my excess in diapers is like, one day you will thank. Well, actually, if I do my job, you will never thank me. But the consequence for failure
They
is
do
rather
grow
dire.
out though, and then you end up with a whole bunch of the
Yeah.
previous size that don't fit very well.
I have enough
Fair enough.
for 2 armies or a horde. Okay. So the Warforged are going to raise an army, because that seems to be the thing to do these days. Plus, they just saw basically 2 giant armies come and kill each other right in front of them. They're a little concerned. And also, they're feeling strangely invigorated after all that death that happened around them. So yes, they will raise an army. And the humans are seeing what's going on over there. They're like,
That's
holy
amazing.
crap.
Wait, where?
Which humans?
These are the ones I
These
got.
humans are
Okay.
seeing what?
All the stuff that's going
over
on
there.
over there.
Mm.
And they're like, okay, we better stop killing each other for a little while. there's a range of mountains on the horizon, and there's all these flashes of light from the other side, and you're like, okay.
Lightning?
The dwarves are distracted. Conquest opportunity.
So someone's just like, hey, wait a minute, instead of killing each other, we can kill other people and take their stuff. And it was like, dwarves!
So it's more like if we don't stop killing each other, we're all going to be killed by whatever is over there. Yeah. So they hold a big peace summit in the first city, and they come to an agreement. They're like, okay,
If they're a warlike human, it makes more sense for one tribe to unite all the others under.
Awesome charismatic
Or you
leader.
could use a night guy, you mean?
I
That would
did
work.
Yeah. Okay. There we are.
What do you have left?
I've got lots left.
The ogre guy.
The ogre. Actually, I kind of had her pictured as a woman,
Her? Never mind.
Okay, the ogress.
but
She's not actually an ogre. That's just her sign, right?
that's her sign. But it's her style as well. Like the
That
knights
fits.
as a whole are lawful good, but she's kind of neutral, chaotic.
Well,
she
it's-
kind of drinks deep and fights with her bare fists and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Well, this is all about like bringing
Sir Guthrum.
the Brushfire Wars to an end in one big swoop. So we're gonna finish it. I do like your idea. Instead of a peace summit, have
Have a peace fight.
have a peace fight. Yes, a king rises that is strong enough to conquer all. He gains a lot of allegiance because of this fear of outside. Whatever.
Sir Guthrum stays alive.
Sir who what?
She doesn't die.
What's her name?
Veteran?
Guthrum?
Sir Guthrum.
Guthrum,
Guthrum.
the ogre.
All right, the ogress. Sir Guthrum the ogress
Gutrun.
assists this great king in unifying his people. They have an army now.
Now, are you spelling Sir S-E-R?
No.
Or
No.
S-I-R?
No, because we have that as intellectual property. BioWare does.
SCR?
Well, I assume that's why we wanted to go with something that we could. Oh, is that?
No. Sarah,
Can
we
you
don't.
figure out?
Sarah comes from Martin's books.
Ah,
I don't like.
That's
Part of me
boring.
is just like kind of like why
Yeah.
why did we do that? Like George R.R. Martin, which were already get lambasted for a lot of our ideas being similar. We actually stole that term from, I assume, because otherwise it's like, really, Dave, you came up with that independently, even though I know you love R.R. Martin. Yeah,
anyway.
could happen.
I had assumed that the reason we did that was twofold. One was so that we could use a gender-neutral term,
Which is
and
incorrect.
the other was so that we could say we made it up ourselves. So that.
Which is
And they're both wrong. I guess that's why I'm a programmer.
No, that would make a lot more sense. I
Yeah.
wish we did.
That's why I'm not in legal or right.
So is that your whole turn?
Yes, I've spent everything.
Alright. These my influence of humans in the. I'm going to describe. Wait, I forgot to describe. Describe civilization. 3 points.
2.
We're in a different age.
Oh, I'm looking.
Second call.
Oh, thank you. The humans in the aftermath of the Great Uniting.
Yes, the
There's
peace war.
peace war. The users are kind of enslaved. I'm
All
starting slavery in your human lands.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
Using her
Never
good
do that.
influence from the good religion.
Yeah.
So I assume that's a -1 evil that you're doing or whatever.
No, it's
No.
just describe civilization. They were already
Describe
corrupted, so.
Yeah, I didn't have to do anything. I just
And we
want.
previously established slavery was a -1 corruption level
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's just a
Mostly,
little.
I want to make it to give an excuse.
Well, no, I meant like each
for
thing. Like you could be
the Vikings.
slaves.
Or-
Slaves is -1, cannibals is -1, but each thing is
Ooh,
-1.
slave freeing range.
So I think in the way I was thinking,
I
the
needed
way
some reason to attack.
adding
We're
adding
attacking them for slaves. We
Adding-
want to free them.
adding slavery to something it's not like -1 is a certain level. Like adding
Mm.
slavery to something is a corrupt. I
Ah,
think that is a -1 corrupt.
Okay.
So I have
so-
to corrupt it instead.
I think doesn't that cost the same or it costs 1 more?
Plus 1 more.
Yeah, I think adding slavery to something is corrupting it, unless it was already like, yeah, for sure. I think.
Alright. That was the reason.
I had been wanting to make a slaveholding human empire in third age, but I think that having one in first age isn't going to make that too terrific.
Well, basically, I needed an excuse for my lawful
Yeah.
good Viking. Chaotic good? I
I'm
say
sure
chaotic
someone
good.
else will independently
Vikings
come up
are
with the notion of
thought
slavery.
And then to start raiding.
Okay.
So my army, their army isn't really an army, it's more a whole huge collection of individually owned and captained boats,
Privateers.
privateers. And they start raiding.
For good.
For good! That's the important thing.
They're on slave raids.
Yeah, for good.
For good.
Yeah. I was just
Yeah,
thinking with
they go and
Tim and
capture
he's-
slaves and free them
Yep.
and take their stuff.
with my hand.
It's kind of the opposite. Oh no, the Vikings are here. Hide the slaves. Everything else is fine.
They are pretty, it is pretty bloody. Like, they will kill slave holders. No rape, though. They're good.
Just village.
This is kind of like what Magda went on to do. Went to free the slaves.
Yeah.
Yes, so all along here,
Now, Meg, there's a Viking.
and they're just basically scouring the coasts for reasons, for bad people.
Well,
What was
originally
that?
going Viking just meant going on an adventure,
Yeah.
and often that
How
meant
many
trading,
points did I spend?
and sometimes it meant trading at really good margins.
Yeah, at knife point.
Would that be command civilization to command an army?
Yeah, if your
Yeah.
army's already there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Command civilization.
When my guys
I need to spend some more so I
refugees
can below my thing.
went and founded the city, they kind of moved their city. Do I have to, like, I should pay to found the city again?
You could probably just command.
I paid the
That city
command.
got
to
destroyed.
them
They're
to-
building a new city.
Oh right, they
So-
could get destroyed. So
Yeah.
yeah, make a
Okay.
new city.
They don't have to do it right away, though. They can live in shantytown for now.
Well, I might as well pay.
All these scholars and stuff are living in tent universities.
Well, they built tents for their books, and they're living on the ground.
I wonder if they had any, would they have had any more forged that are still under their control, or just none of them at all? They were all under the
If
control
you
of the
want some
obelisk?
under your control, you could spend your influence and have some, sure.
Wonder question. No, I need to
Couple
spend 2 more
were
points.
loyal.
Well, the problem is they were very loyal.
Or just
Probably
not
with
that
the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we better get in.
I'm going to use 2
What
points
guy?
to command the city of Hattervik, who create a giant lighthouse. These lighthouses are cool.
They are.
Anyway, I'd say if you spent enough to influence, that would be enough to get loyal Warforged.
Yeah, I don't think I want to actually. It seems better than to than have it.
You could start having them make
Oh,
more
you're
of
not
themselves out of... No,
I
I'm
can
not
wait
dead
until next
trees.
turn.
Go ahead. I'll
okay.
just keep
I
it.
don't
Gonna become very
I was gonna
antique
wipe out the
That was
ice
count
but
as a.
Well, I was going to do something to wipe out magically stuff. So if you
are
want to
you
wipe out
gonna
the
do
ice,
that now?
I was going to ask if people are okay with me doing it now.
Can I do this first then?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna use my free catastrophe, one of my free
I don't-
catastrophes.
Mm.
And BAM! The city of Enitok. Wow, how did
Which one?
I is
Point?
I can't see from there.
It's
Right
the
here.
only ice mercy.
It's only Ice Mercy. Is emptying quite quickly of Ice Mare. Not sure why. The traders go to visit and there's nobody there to trade with.
Mm.
The Ice Mare aren't dead, but they're not there. They left everything.
Well, it's just like
Just
that
whatever
trailer,
they could
trailer
grab
park
and
we were in
run.
that time. Not trailer, like that holiday trailer place.
Yeah.
The laundry was still in the line.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
tree
they
fell.
only grabbed
Yep.
the
It was
essential
a
things.
seesaw.
And there was like a free
Three
tattoos.
tattoos.
They only grabbed
That
the
was
bare
so
essential
creepy.
things. So there's like you could see that people are like grabbing food and things, but the things
Some
that
sort
don't
of-
matter are
Some
Or
sort of
so they're-
mass exodus.
mass exodus.
Weird.
I was hoping for
Yay!
one more
I got
turn
one
to
more.
build a relic.
Okay, I will destroy all the magical stuff on my next turn.
And I could have
Not
been.
magical stuff, but the magical sieves.
Yeah.
Last turn. Last turn warning.
Yeah. Alright, I will not do that this turn then. And I
Does
will
it mean
just...
we're ending the history thing?
No, not necessarily. I'm just planning. It's. I feel like we have enough magical sieves that I can destroy them now. But whatever. Okay.
They
What
have
will I
reached
do?
maturity. It is time for harvest.
I will. What do I want to do?
Wait. This is
Thinking something with the elves.
Can I
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, since I have more points. The remaining ice mare, they go deep under the ice sheet. They basically leave the edge of the ice sheet where they can attack people. That would be command civilization, right?
Yep. Unless it's just that city. It makes it
Nope,
just command
they're all
city.
go. Something happened and they all like just went away. It's a mystery.
Oh.
I've pretty much done everything I wanted to do at this age.
I have just one more thing. Can you just double check Nico's notes to make sure he's done all these things?
Okay. I'm going to. Oh, I need it. Who do I have influence with? I have influence with someone, don't I?
You
The elves,
got,
if
you
you
got
want
these
through with
guys.
Oh yeah, I got influence so I could build those guys in the first place. So I have influence with the original guys, but I don't want to influence those guys.
Could counterattack with feud. Could build another Loot City. So you could-
Interesting. Nico wanted to destroy your oases.
But it
Oh, I thought he
started
wanted to eat up this part.
He also wanted to destroy your oases.
They're naturally getting destroyed because
You
they've been abandoned.
Oh,
So they're not being tended. So
Is there still oases
we
there?
could use a well,
Yeah.
they're natural oases, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so we could catastrophe them.
Didn't you
It's
say there
okay.
were
I think-
sandstorms above it?
They were going to, but they haven't done that
I
yet.
think
Oh,
Mika
okay.
and I didn't get free catastrophes or cataclysm stuff.
Oh,
right,
that's
because you're.
Because I was scared there'd be too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
well,
I'll give you and Mika one free catastrophe, but I don't think I can give you guys cataclysms because there'll just be
Take
too
off
many.
ice mare.
they can make like a magical sandstorm above themselves too.
What makes you find that out?
Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll spend. What will I do? I guess maybe. Oh, it's cost 6. Oh, I got 12 points. I'll spend 2 advance civs to advance both these guys. They develop they work together. They ally, and they
the
the Ood and
And
the
the Panoblin.
and the Panoblin. and
Alpha and beta.
they super advance at magical communication, and they develop basically kind of like a magical version of the internet in a way. Like they can communicate, their tech just takes off. Like they basically develop a magical internet, but like because it's magic, you can like teleport stuff over it. It's like Uber. These guys are like working together, and they're like becoming super Uber together.
They found the keys to the cosmos.
Yeah. And that cost my whole, because I basically paid to advance both of them, so that cost my whole turn.
Okay.
Is there anything that Mika wants to do that I can do? Because I'm done with
No,
everything.
not
I've got 12 points.
Oh, I didn't start thinking what I wanted to do in the second age because I'm like, oh, lots of things are going to mess up whatever I plan.
Well, it's almost 10,
Oh, okay.
so I think we'll probably break after this age.
Okay. I'm gonna use a catastrophe to explain what happened in this war between the dwarves and the Ood. This is known as
Do you have influence over?
You can use catastrophe on anything, actually.
this is known as Titan Wastes. And essentially what happened was, at the height of the battle, the magical defenses and the Titan became linked together. And, the dwarves managed to retreat with their army. But the Titan, they were basically both commanded to destroy the outsider. And, there was a lot of magical energy flying around. The Ood were casting spells. The dwarves were, using this huge contraption. The Waystone shattered. And essentially, all of Titan Wastes, large portions of the city are intact because the magical defenses in the Titan started attacking everybody. And so right now you've got this Titan raging through linked to these magical defenses, just raging through this ruins of the city and the surrounding area. So that's a catastrophe. I've got 12 points. You cool with that, Bob?
Sure. So basically, the Titans are loose and rampaging.
Loose and rampaging through this area. It's kind of
Okay.
got in that square, basically.
Destroy anyone that is.
And I guess there's also the magical defenses there
Yeah.
too, right? So it's just like if you go there, you probably die. Yeah.
yeah.
Perhaps if you brought two hordes.
Yeah. Although if it stays till the end, that makes for an interesting place for it turns out you got to go here to get that thing. Oh crap!
I'm going to disguise myself as a Titan.
Let's see, size minus 2 for each size difference. Oh, okay, that's minus 300. Okay,
I
well.
think if you get the hat right, you should be okay.
Might need a different nose.
Yeah, you might need the Avena level bluff. It's like you're a halfling. No, I'm a Titan. Oh yeah, you're small for a Titan.
I don't like to talk about it.
Actually, it'd probably be best just to tunnel to wherever it is that we're
Okay.
going.
The Gnomish nobles raise an army. Raise an army because, frankly,
The
They're,
Gnobles of the gnomes.
they consider the elves who open their doors to any refugee wearing an ugly hat, and the brown robes to be beneath contempt. So they raise an army, and furthermore, their entire civilization depends on having all of these nameless, who basically do all of the grunt work, who are the driving force of their economy, and they're losing more and more nameless to the elves and to the brown robes. So, and they of course they can't admit this because
That would
to be dependent on nameless people would be deeply shaming. So they raise an army and they attack the elves first. They try to attack the shanty town, but frankly, the Nameless have been dealing with this for quite some time, and they have, they just fade back into the huts, and they actually
Friend the huts.
the open palm moves have special charisma damaging moves, which the gnomes are really afraid of. Like they knock your teeth in, and they knock your teeth in, and the gnomes would rather be dead. So the gnomes go for the elves, who don't fight quite as dirty,
Yep. Oh yeah.
and.
I suspect you're going to A, since they have no land army, and B, they're probably pretty trusting. You might have a very nice sneak attack going on.
Yeah,
And you get a
they're
plus
gonna
one
work
on
over your
doing
port city there, because you've got a city complete, so
Yes.
they're gonna attack it and loot it, and
Oh no! The last goodbye.
well,
Are you gonna steal some of the or what did you say?
The codex.
The codex.
oh, and they will totally grab the codex,
Uh,
or a chunk of the codex, whatever they can.
and you can, if you want, define what the codex is at this point, or you can just leave it up to the codex and let somebody else get parts of
They're
it.
gnomes, so they grab the sections of the codex
They're on the lower shelves.
which have to do.
Oh, I mean, you can define physically what the codex is, like what
Okay.
you're grabbing.
Essentially, okay, the codex is a collection of. The elves have discovered a way by inscribing. They're all about the runes and the wards, and they have discovered a way by. It's called the Bones of the Earth, and there are specific waystones which are just coated in runes. Actually, they've magically embedded these runes so that it looks like a waystone, but when you pick it up, you see it's actually a lattice, just of runes upon runes upon runes. They have so heavily engraved and magically written on these things that actually there's not much waystone left. Like all the magical energy of the waystone is there, but the physical material of it has all gone to forge these bones of the earth, and they're just chunks of solid knowledge.
Cool.
And you have to have a lot of magical skill to even read one of these things. And the gnomes grab a whole bunch of them related to illusion and deception and aesthetics.
Cool.
And the elves manage to escape with most of the rest. The city's burned. So that's 6.
You really shouldn't have made that city out of balsa.
So they grab the ones about illusion and what?
I don't understand how the trusting elves met such a noble end.
Sir Alan,
Ignoble.
Knight of the Raven, I'll use him to cheapen that. He's helping the elves escape, basically,
Oh, okay.
and he survives.
You
So
need
that's
to kill
5.
them off
I've got
more.
7 left. Yeah,
So which one was
I'm gonna up the odds as the ages
Yeah.
go by.
Which one was
Right
that?
now it's a 1 in 6.
Which night was that?
Sir Alan.
Not Sir Timothy?
Sir Alan at the.
Oh, Sir Timothy would totally make more sense. Yeah,
He's
Sir Timothy.
he's their pal.
He's their pal. He's
Sir.
and considering I was going to make him, the knight of graceful combat, and beauty and elegance, this totally makes sense.
Were you
Okay,
expecting
so-
one of your knights to be a tree by this point?
No, I really wasn't. But he doesn't even need the tomb anymore. He can just be. He's got
Basically-
phoenix's tendency.
He is his own
foliage, and he spends a lot of time on that.
He's alive. Just because you can't walk
7.
doesn't mean you're dead.
But
It
not
does.
everybody knows that.
As good as.
Actually, it's not true. We only get 50% of our life insurance payout if you lose both your legs.
Oh.
So you're half alive, really.
It's good to know. Somebody tell Xavier that. Professor Xavier, I'm sure you get that.
I've got 7. What can I do here? I'm going to influence the Salt Dragons.
How are you doing that?
You're going to do something with
No, it's okay. Just one of them.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, the salt dragon. Some of the salt dragons follow something called the Code of Tarek.
What is it?
It's a way of life for a salt dragon. It's, basically, there are the wild, savage, untamed salt dragons, and there are the ones who follow the Code of Tarek, and it makes a lot of difference to a salt dragon. And
You don't eat that cattle on Tuesdays. What were you thinking?
All the peasants are like, we're being attacked by salt dragons. Oh, they're followers of Tarek. They're followers of Tarek.
And over here, there's basically
One of the peasants is saying to the other, it makes a big difference to them.
they begin to construct a huge ornate web of basically out of stolen things. That they raid the Titan wastes a lot for stealing specific artifacts and building this huge network of webbing and devices hung between the salt pillars, and they call it Faux Tarek.
F-O? F-P-H?
F-O. Oh, P-H-O. Yeah, sure, P-H-O. P-H always makes things a little bit more elegant. So it's Faux Tarek, and they kill anyone who comes anywhere near it.
The dragon suit?
Yep.
Okay.
So at this point, elves.
There's like a few dwarves that are like, you know what? We really hate the salt dragons. Let's all kill them.
The followers of Tarek kill any salt dragons who don't follow Tarek. They come by there. Like, they protect this thing very jealously.
You gotta be really dedicated xenophobes to be like, let's go bust some salt dragon heads. We don't take kindly to their sort round here.
Well, we're not even around here. Around there.
Have a navy, so they don't have any way to get to the salt dragon.
There's a few that are like, I'm building the canoe. It's my life's mission
I'm
to go
gonna
kill a
walk.
salt dragon.
Except those followers of Tarek, they're all right by me.
We're gonna.
Makes a big difference.
I'm gonna get me a snorkel and I'm gonna walk to the salt
The
dragon.
tunnel under the ocean.
Yeah. So basically, that's. It's not a city. They don't live there, but there are enough of since all of them basically spend all of their time building this thing and defending this thing, it counts as a city.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, that's my turn. That's all my points.
Okay. So, Eris, the mischievous fairy, has anything been said about the Myra maids, about their personalities or...
They're crocodile
Did I
maids.
purify? No, I split them off before the others got corrupted. So
Yeah,
they're
just neutral.
they're just
right?
neutral.
And they're they're not allies of the
Yeah,
that
So-
was the elves.
yeah.
Eris is very amused by their existence. She thinks they're interesting, so she tries to get them to worship her as their goddess, but they won't have any of it. They
Why not?
because they're not. I don't know. For some reason, they don't
Okay.
buy it. They're not interested.
Not gullible.
So Eris is very mad at them, and
Oh.
she says, "Well, fine then. You don't want to worship me as your goddess. She figures they need a little bit more motivation. So she goes over here and interacts with one of the salt dragons. I can't decide if it's a Code of Tarek or not. You better tell me. It's a salt dragon mother because it's part of a matriarchal salt dragon society. And her clan, so it's a mother and all her sons. Her name is Morag. And Eris convinces them to move to the Salt Flat Basin. So Morag sets up her family there, and so now the Myra maids have neighbors-ish. A salt dragon matriarch and her sons. Would those be
No, they wouldn't.
Torekers or
No.
Maybe they don't like what's going on with that, and they're like, "Oh, let's get over there." Anyway, Eris convinces them.
Let's go south.
go there?
Nicer climate.
Meanwhile,
Hotter and saltier.
okay, so that would be founding a city, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll name it in a second. Well, it's just more eggs than that, really. Now, when she's trying to get the mermaids to worship her, nothing's really happened with them yet, but should I say something?
No,
Eris
no,
was trying to
if
do
you
something
think
and it
that
didn't work.
That's just an explanation
Yeah,
for
okay.
why Eris did what she did.
Okay.
It's
She might.
flavor text, that's free.
Okay. Meanwhile, the phoenixes are becoming actually fairly advanced in like the
The ways of love.
the arts, okay? The charismatic arts, like poetry and music and visual arts. They're becoming very advanced in that thing, such that if anyone was interested in beautiful objects, they might come, or I guess not so much objects, but like songs and poetry and stuff like that. They would come to the phoenixes to learn about them, and they set up an art school, and anyone who's interested can come there and learn the ways of romance and blah blah blah.
Alright.
Is that a euphemism?
No. Now the Unqua,
We specialize
the
in
original
burning
Unqua,
flesh.
who live in Saturn, actually live under Saturn. They have built a tunnel system, and their city is now all underground, underneath the oases. They come up, they do come up out of there, and they read the stars, and they become really fascinated with the stars since they moved underground. Interestingly
Evil
enough.
stars.
Yes, the stars are evil, but also, as anyone who knows lots about science and magic knows, the stars can also tell you the future. And so they realize that anyone who knows magic, they are gonna be destroyed. And they realize that at least their own civilization is going to be destroyed. So they have this realization, and in order to protect all their knowledge and understanding, the Council of the Unqua set up a series of vaults underneath the desert that are secret vaults where they have different libraries, basically, secret vaulted libraries in various secret locations all underneath the desert. And then they've left, of course, clues, because there's no point to have things if no one can find them, hoping that somehow some of them might survive. They also sent an emissary to warn their brethren, who they believe live here. But unfortunately, their brethren aren't there anymore, because their brethren have run into the very steep mountains
Someone
as
else
refugees.
is there, who is very interested in the news that they are learning.
Yes, so I'm not sure how that's going to go over, if they're going to get captured, or if they're going to have to go through the Warforged to try to find their own people and then get tricked, or whatever. Or
We
the
will hear your news, Unqua.
Okay, so anyway, the Warforged find out that all the magical people, at least that there's this, that the stars are saying that it's going to happen.
Do they believe him though?
I don't know. That's not my business.
We will verify this on Brian's turn.
And then my last few points are the Raksh Unqua, the guys here. They do create a city in the mountains, and they have become very anti-Warforged, surprisingly. And they're actually, some of them are I wanted to say they're becoming very anti-matter, but
Boom!
yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
They're trying to transcend the physical, and so they are really studying a lot of magic and science that are about transcending their physical limitations and becoming non-physical entities and non-reliant on physical things such as bodies.
Bad time to becoming highly magical.
That spends, I think, all my
Are they
points.
magical or spiritual?
Who,
Same
these
thing.
guys? They're not really spiritual. They're
Is
very
it magical?
magical. And scientific. At one point, they were the best in the world at both magic and science. Now everyone else is too.
Ooh.
That's what I had.
Well,
You guys still are the best at science, though.
plus 4 that I saved
Okay,
up,
up
so
to
that's 16.
Wow.
Plus my
We're
3, so
very
I got
smart.
19 points this time.
Wow.
I have 20.
Let's get
This is
started.
going to take a while.
Okay. So, I'm assuming at this point the dwarves, their horde has been reduced to an army after that big battle. So let's bring it back up to a horde. They're not done dealing with you. They got this city to take care of. So let's do that. They don't have the Titan to help them anymore. so that's okay. So they attack that city.
Just to clarify, you can still use, if you're doing something evil, you can still use the Knights of the Banner. You just say that the knight is helping the other side.
The dwarves don't like the Knights of the
Like you
Banner.
did with the gnomes.
What are you doing?
The dwarves are attacking this other Ood city.
I'm just thinking if I care if the Ood City survives. I guess as long as there's one Ood City to be wiped out, it's okay. Now the Ood
But they
have
still
become...
have massive defenses. So
Yeah, the Ood
Yeah.
still have massive defenses, and they become even better. Like they can like... They become insanely magically powerful at this point.
Yeah. Shall we handle it the same way we did before?
I don't know if it's quite as even as
I feel like the Ood should have an advantage just because
Okay.
like they're insane at this point.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
maybe the Ood should be good on 1, 2, 3, 4, and the dwarves should only be good on like 1, 2 or something.
Mm.
If you're okay with that, I'm
Sure.
just proposing it.
5,
Sure.
6.
Or sorry, that's what I mean. Yeah, that,
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4 is bad. Sorry, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 is bad for the dwarves, but only 1, 2 is bad for the Ood.
Oh, I see.
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
You're right. I said it wrong, but okay.
So I want to get 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So they both have
Average,
bad
everyone.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have to roll again?
because they're both bad. So I'm assuming basically some kind of like mutual destruction, like.
Well, there's a dwarven city right over here.
Yeah, Deccan.
So basically, we could just say that they rocked.
They
Yeah.
open fire on each other.
They wiped each other out.
Yeah, I think. Why don't we say like they? Like, it may not be that they are literally wiped out like on either side. It's just
Yeah.
like they're both of them,
Are
or
devastated.
they're devastated. They
Yeah.
have no defenses. They're like
Yeah.
they're devastated.
Okay. So I got 13 points still.
Just form another army and attack them again. But that's not perhaps as interesting because
Depends what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Just hiding looks. Basically, there'll be things that
I'm gonna have a band of dwarves
Command
break
city
off.
twice or
like
command.
And
command
that is
city
city
once
here.
per
Yeah, call it that.
Close to humans.
Yes.
All right, men. This is exactly what we feared.
Where are they?
Short people are coming.
Right here. I just need to find a name.
Is there anything else I need to name? No.
This is called. So many of them are called have B names. Okay, this one's Voihawk. Voihok.
Is it underground?
No. But it's built of like very sturdy stone. And yeah, they are there. And they're gonna raise an army there. And they're going to fortify it, the city.
They didn't have a bunch of other stuff to do. Those movies show it.
Still got 5 points to spend. What do I want to do?
You're being attacked all along your coast.
Trivia. Raiders. During the nights.
We're gonna go up the river next.
We'll destroy the river.
Just the only way to be sure.
Yeah.
I think that for an evil empire, the human cities aren't fantastically impressive. I think somebody should build some more human cities.
Yes, it might be a good idea. But I have something I need to do over there, so I'll wait till the next stage. The humans will come to their own.
Yeah. They're kind of being...
they're too much fighting to really be an empire. They're just an evil.
And they're not
They're
that
just
evil, really. They're just a little
Okay,
spicy.
so the dwarves throw out all the wreckage of
I mean,
the
they haven't
Ood
started anything.
areas. They have claimed some of the functional magical artifacts that used to belong to the Ood, and they want to figure them out and put them to use.
Do you have a plan for those Warforged?
Yes.
Okay, because I have an idea too.
No, I'm going to do something with them my turn.
That's 2 points left. I'll hold on to those 2 points.
What'd you do with the open delegation?
Elven
Oh, the
delegation.
ones that came
Oh, I
through.
forgot about them.
Supper.
Well,
They're just xenophobes. They're
They
not.
had to go over for
That's
supper.
That's right. It's distasteful. They're like, yeah, we wouldn't even eat you. They fed them to the dogs, but then they felt bad and killed the dogs too.
well, did they actually go into Dwarven territory, or did they go by?
No, they went to meet with the dwarves.
Oh, would I have to command civilization to do something, or?
No, you can just.
Well, you can probably just say what happened.
Reactions.
Unless
can
it's
just
like
say it.
something written. Yeah.
They were sent to meet the Titan elders in Titan Place.
The dwarves. The dwarves attacked the elves.
On site?
Yes.
Did they get
Pretty much, but some of the elves got away and they fled. So probably about half of the elves managed to get away.
Cool, good to know.
And that, well, I don't want to directly influence the elves, but I might suggest that would put some fear into their hearts.
Fear the dwarves and
Fear of
Or
war
fear
races
of their
generally.
hearts.
Like,
fear.
I don't know.
Why would they be fearful?
But like, I don't know.
Aren't
Like,
they scared of everything anyway?
I don't know. But I don't. That would affect them in some way.
The elves, they're good. They're like, join us in our hidey hole. It's the last one left. Gnomes killed our other people.
Okay.
Short people are scary. Short people are scary.
So that's my turn.
You have to be this tall to get into a hidey hole.
So it's after 10, and we've hit a round thing.
Did we go around?
I'd be happy with going another round, but
I-
that's what people want. So.
I don't have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, let's go for another round.
go one more
Everyone's willing.
I want to get.
Because I want to
your
see.
kite.
I want to see what Brian and John are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's like fruit
Fruit
and
and
nuts.
nut.
Fruit and nut, and I've been eating this crap.
Alright.
Fruit and nut.
To get influence. Influence of the gnomes! So, the Codex. You have a
The bones of the earth.
Basically, from
It's the bones of the earth now.
Oh, okay. Well, the elves call it the bones, the Codex. The gnomes call it the bones of the earth.
Sure.
All right. But
That actually
anyway,
makes
the gnomes that really got involved with it, they were driven mad, and now there's this. They were destroyed by the other noble families. You know, the ones that were closest to them.
Unnamed. Or destroyed.
They were actually destroyed because it was so bad that the other gnomes.
Unnamed and destroyed.
But the thing is, now they've become this kind of secret assassin-like society
Are they
amongst
the
the gnomes.
Illuminati?
And everybody else is trying to kill them, so they have limited influence a lot of times because they're severely hunted. But whatever is bad that the elves are trying to contain with the Codex, those guys have part of the problem.
They're the bone eaters. The bone eaters.
Bones of the
They
earth.
ate the bones
Oh,
of the earth.
yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
come
yeah.
back.
Yeah, okay, I like it.
And it's fruity.
Better than bone drinkers. Those
Not,
guys
not
suck.
as creepy
Yeah.
as my cyber liches.
Poor Reggie.
They make a new city.
Cyber liches?
Yeah.
Is that what you're calling them?
No, but that's what they are.
Helped by Sir Timothy. Silvara.
Undead robots.
Really? He'll help the bone eaters?
No. This is sorry. The elves have formed a new city over here
Oh, okay.
because they have fled from their previously now
he
destroyed
survives
city.
too.
And sorry, what was it called?
The Silvara,
That's just.
called South Harbor.
Yeah.
And so they're over here at the mouth of the street.
That's the name of an elven city in Dragon Knights.
Okay.
I believe so.
That's okay. Someone already named something Morag, which is the name of a character in Neverwinter Nights. So.
To be clear of what I did on my turn,
I
I
think anyway.
when I
Maybe
said
you have to character.
I mean,
book
no,
right
no,
with yours.
no. There was an individual
When I-
character who was an elf.
when I said that the dwarves took some magical stuff, I said that
It's
after
okay.
I
It's not a
founded
very
that
good
town,
franchise. You could-
but
you
it
could
happened
do it.
before that
Okay.
because some of the magical
Canadian
stuff is in
Hogwarts
that city.
female.
Would be willing to teach some of the elves, like some elven guardians, some of the
Secret
secrets.
Yeah, I don't think like the Ood aren't the Ood are neutral, so they're as long as you know like
As
Margaret
long as you got
Lawrence.
something to trade. in exchange.
yeah, as long as they
Maybe
got something to
Margaret
trade. I mean, they're a
Margaret
little bit
Lawrence.
scared probably because the dwarves just came and attacked them, so they're like probably a little bit hesitant, but like they're not isolationists or anything.
The elves are kindred spirits in that
And obviously
regard.
they traded with these guys, right? And like, just like anything, you know, the more races they can get on the internet, the better. So like, let's start training up these simpleton races and.
The elves found a kind of a warrior sect of inquisitor type people, not called that, that are combination warriors and magic users. Sort of like, I forget what they call spellblades, I think is what they were called in previous editions. And they are primarily trying to stop the spread of the bad stuff that's happening in their own civilization. Every now and then they purge elves in their own society, so they're feared by other elves. And they also do this in other races, which could create problems down the way, because they think their jurisdiction is pretty much everywhere. Probably they would occasionally be even going into Gnomish lands to help against the Bone Eaters, because from their perspective, they're also the enemy.
My cataclysm might wreck your plans there, so I'm just wondering.
Could they be created afterwards from the last remnants of?
Yes,
Yeah.
that would work fine. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we can just do those out of order. It's fine. I'm just warning you that I have a feeling that my cataclysm will wreck your plans.
Is your cataclysm gonna wreck holy magic? Or just.
I'll explain it in my turn, and we can debate about it and discuss it and figure out what people want. But I wasn't planning on it being holy magic, no.
And purifying the elves one more time. They're compassionate.
Did you say that before?
No, yeah, I did say that. They also are trying to, not healing magic, but just healing ways on pretty much other beings and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I missed the first bit of that. I was.
He's purifying them,
Oh, okay.
making them good healers. Right?
Yeah.
I like them.
You get bonus points to do bad things to them.
Somebody's got to teach these dwarves a lesson.
Yep.
They are nasty.
I don't
Well,
currently have anything apart from full
If I had a lot of spare points, I'd have the humans start working on that because
Yeah.
they are. I advance them in the areas of war, and they can never go to war with anyone.
We have
Just each
people
other.
are going to war against them.
Yeah, but not in any way that it actually matters.
That's because
Well,
I
but
didn't
where
want
are
it
the
to
threats? Are
I
these?
just wanted it to be a threat.
Okay,
I
here we
can't
go.
really see. Where are the dwarfs?
Yes, I
Right
got a lot
here?
of points. Good.
Right here.
I might actually be able to have
Right here.
humans do something.
And this one's in really bad shape.
Yeah.
All right,
And the Ood are in bad shape now too.
I got 13 points.
Although, well, this Ood City's 5.
Let me see now. 13 points. I'm going to spend 8, which will leave me with 5. 5 points. Okay, so the obelisk receives emissaries from the. Why do I keep forgetting? the name?
What?
What are they? Your folk?
Umqua?
Oh, sorry.
Umqua. Yes, they receive emissaries from the Umqua.
Receive. Yes.
Yes.
Intercept.
The emissaries were coming to that city. It's just under new management.
It would be nifty if they pretended that there were Umquat in the
They've got
next
these-
room. We're
they've got
like,
these
we
dead
are the
Umqua, and they're
servitors.
like, you're using them like puppets. And I'm like, no. Well, actually, if they're skilled in
If they're
the
good at
arts
bluffing,
of
I'm
undeath,
sure they
they
could.
could have some Umqua. No.
They're also magical.
What did I do when I
Oh no,
defeated
they're not. That's the. Never mind, they're not.
I think.
Alright.
I think. Well, I mean, basically, they haven't done anything wrong. They were just
No,
there
they
when
haven't. They
Umqua
haven't done
got
anything.
destroyed.
Well, also, and they're also. It sounds like the Warforged are sort of under the thumb of the obelisk, right?
Yeah.
So they just kind of do what they're told.
And really, none of these guys are bad. They're just self-interested.
Well, and it's even possible the emissaries went and found the ruined city,
Yeah.
and then obviously they're gonna run into Warforged,
Yeah.
or whatever they're called.
But,
But,
they
yeah, like-
buttonholed a few emissaries on the way.
Yeah, basically they're going to find out that these Umqua believe that there's prophecies in the skies that the future holds dire things which could negatively impact them. But they are proper machine-minded, logical beings. One
That's
must
a very logical thing.
one must verify. And so therefore they are going to perform an experiment to repeat this prophecy. They construct out in the desert. This is a legendary entity, it's an artifact. A massive ziggurat, huge pyramid. And at the apex of the ziggurat, they build a colossal orrery. It's a mechanical representation of the solar system.
Oh, those things are cool.
Yeah, only this is a geocentric solar system, so the planet is in the center, and it's got the moon and
How many moons are there?
just one. I so define it. There's a moon and there's a sun and there's some planets and stuff.
And stars.
The stars, that's interesting. The orrery is enclosed in a big spherical shell. And they need this to be it's like sympathetic magic. This needs to be an accurate representation of the celestial sphere. So like the moon, they actually take a chunk of the moon. And they actually take a chunk of the sun, using magical means, obviously. And the shell, the stars, they need actual stars. Fortunately, there's a lot of them around. So they send out Hunter Warforged to go and collect up a bunch of stars and bring them back. And they're mounted magically within this shell.
You should have that opposed by a Knight of the Banner.
Oh, you want that? You want him to oppose that?
Maybe he was
Yeah.
wandering
So
around.
it still
looking at
it
stars.
just makes it cheaper.
Oh, I
But, you know.
suppose that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
But opposed. in
who
order-
would oppose this worthy goal?
Oh, Sir Carlos, Knight of the Sun.
Of course he would.
Oh, he didn't die.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe he
So
was
he
hanging out with one
saved some of the
with some
stars, etc., etc.,
All
and
right.
killed a few assassins.
Yeah. They're not assassins.
Heroic.
They're hunters.
They're hunters.
They're scientists.
They're trophy big game hunters.
They're bounty hunters, in a sense. Anyway, so this huge orrery is built, and the orrery has this telemicroscope aimed at the central planet. And it's-
Microscope?
yes, it's a telescope that looks at tiny features on this simulation planet, which is like this intricate clockwork device. And the obelisk has himself installed in the position to observe. And then when they set the orrery to particular time periods, he can see the future through this, see what the world is like.
Oh, nifty. Instead
Yes.
of standing on the Earth seeing the future in the stars, you build something so you can stand in the stars seeing the future on the Earth.
Exactly, yes. And he sees that, yes, there is terrible things in the future. And he tries to find configurations of the planet. How can we guide the future to a better destiny?
As defined by him.
As defined by him.
Or
The obelisk is entirely
It-
benevolent.
It is not malevolent.
As a matter of fact,
it's a machine.
Yes.
It's
It
just
doesn't.
it was originally built to save the planet from the rift
Yes,
and the chaos underneath it.
yes.
It just kind of
It's
didn't
going
want
its
to
own
be a
way.
slave of the Oblin because they're
Yeah.
not the sharpest tools in the shed. Perfectly honest.
Yes, and in fact, after a great deal of intricate manipulation, it discovers that there is indeed a very narrow path that leads to an ideal future, but it is very difficult to get there. And
precise.
very precise. There's a
You'll
lot.
be yelling for people to say, no, don't do that! when they're trying
No,
to-
actually, I'm just going to keep saying, "Oh, that's part of my plan," no matter what happens. So anyway, yes, it manages to divine this path to the ideal future using the Destiny prognostication engine.
Did they kill the emissaries? Did
No,
they
they
tell
didn't.
them that
After they
their
got the
people had
information-
gone on?
Yes,
or
they
what
said,
did they say?
"Thank you. You may carry on."
Oh, and they pointed the
And they
direction
said,
that the
yes,
people fled in?
your refugees went that way.
Is that the right way or is that the wrong
It's
way?
the right way. I
Yeah,
pointed in the right direction. See?
Yeah, I was just wondering if
Yeah.
they lied or not.
No, they have no reason to lie. All right.
So they really have no reason to do other than just kind of grab them, dump them in the desert,
Yeah.
dump their stuff next to them, and then walk off. You know.
So anyway, the obelisk sends teams of Warforged out into the world to go and await further orders. All part of this big plan. Now I got a bunch of points left over, so I can actually go and do some of this stuff.
Ooh. Oh, this will be fun.
Can you leave the hollow mountain alone?
Yeah, I didn't have any plans.
Okay.
My main thought was if there was some sort of huge apocalypse, I'd have some survivors hiding there, and they would become like,
It's just a magical
Well,
world.
Yeah, the city of Voidhawk is
yeah.
more.
You're
I have no
Humans
idea.
actually-
I have no idea what this apocalypse is going to entail.
If there's a
I
major
assume
major
humans are gonna be
apocalypse and everybody wants any race, survivors of the race to survive, Tide Haven's a pretty good place.
Ooh.
It's a port
Except-
of call for
except-
humans and aliens.
Except it's
they're
run
tall
by
enough.
elves, and everyone gets bonus points for doing horrible things.
Yes.
That's the
What?
Yeah, but that's why
How
he
can
keeps building
anything go
other
wrong?
cities.
Plus,
Yeah, I'll
that's
go
also
find-
good. You just go there and they take you in, and then horrible
Yeah.
things happening, like you get to take over.
No, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go and find refuge with the true choice of fate. All right. So I got 6 points left. I'm going to... Where's Command Civilization here? I can command twice. So I think that's enough to... I could raise the army they've got to a horde and send it up to do battle with dwarves.
These ones.
Yeah, these ones.
Yeah,
They're
they-
dwarves
they-
in
they-
dwarves in an open plain. They're right for the plan.
You could probably get a knight to help you with that too.
Or I could just send the army I have and send another army down to enslave a whole lot of these Ewoks, because I had my eye
They're
on them
not
for a long time.
Ewoks. They're not furry.
And you now have slavery.
Yeah,
so, hey.
and someone keeps stealing our slaves.
Don't enslave my people. I have a plan for them.
Don't enslave all of
Okay, you can enslave some. Just leave some.
them. Okay.
Well, they're very good at hiding.
They're very
so
vicious.
They're
Very
very good at
warlike
hiding, right?
tribal.
I have
Are
a
they
plan that
good at
might
hiding in
incorporate
their
them.
surroundings?
I would assume so.
So you're not catching them all.
They're like,
Yeah.
pea shooters,
Yeah.
All right. Well, your dwarves have taken heavy
You say they have
casualties.
witch doctors.
Your dwarves have taken heavy casualties in the war with the Ood, so I don't think I really need a horde to make it a fair fight. That would be an overwhelming fight.
Not a Voyhawk. Voyhawk doesn't have a horde. They have an army.
Yeah, and an
Yeah.
army is enough to take a city. It's just that
Yeah.
a horde is sort of like a whole level of like,
Yeah,
holy crap,
it's
that's
overwhelming.
insane.
Yeah.
All right, so I
But
will.
it's a fortified fortress there.
All right, I guess I will establish.
So it's not as epic as their mountain fortress.
That's right.
All right, I will use Command Civilization to put a human city down there that is a slave raiding center that collects slaves from the forest. And I will send an army to go and fight Voidhawk.
I don't think these people are going to make very good slaves.
Well, you gotta try.
Yeah, you can try. I'm just saying they're really vicious.
So and the humans attack Voidhawk?
Yeah. Now, let me name the slave trading center there. I mean, the only other real option I have is enslaving dwarves, and they're also pretty vicious.
Yeah, they wouldn't be very good.
they don't make the best slaves. Like,
They're even
Do the
worse.
laundry.
I hate you.
yeah,
Your
it's like-
foreign
I-
laundry.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you want a slave that will murder you as soon as they have the opportunity, try our new line of dwarves.
Athusia. That sounds like a nice, enlightened name for a city. Athusia. All right.
That's like we went to this restaurant in Montreal, and it had like this very like erudite sounding name. It just sounded so like cultured. Baton Rouge. And then I realized Baton Rouge, Red Stick. It's a ribs place. And it's called Red Stick. And it just, when you know it's Red Stick, it's just kind of, it's kind of gross.
It is a city.
But it's just, Baton Rouge, Red Stick is just gross. It's like a gross name for a ribs place. But like,
For a Cajun place, coming from the Cajun land, yes, that's a great name actually. Because it's a very big Creole city.
So how do you
Yeah.
want to resolve? Basically,
I don't know.
I just want to like stop this dwarven incursion now because dwarves are bad news, and my guys are very advanced at warfare, and I've
Yeah.
never attacked anyone with
yeah,
them.
it might be nice for the
And the
humans
dwarves
to win
aren't in
something
their
for
element.
once.
So
Yeah, you want to roll
Yeah.
for it with the humans and an advantage? Or
I don't know.
You want to just call it?
We could just call it. I mean, they're not out to destroy the dwarves. They just want to ensure that they're not coming in to destroy humans.
Make
So-
an example out of them.
Yeah,
city.
so the humans would be willing to conquer the city rather than like flattening it and killing everyone.
Sure.
conquer and enslave the dwarves. It'll be fun.
Maybe have like
Try them out, I guess.
put them
conquer and
digging.
have a what are those called? A
Garrison?
subject.
Make
Oh, yeah, it's getting close to the
Subjugate,
Germans.
yeah.
Occupying
subjugate
force. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to roll it or do you want to just go?
Yeah, let's just do that.
All right,
Sounds interesting.
all right. So the humans occupy Boyhawk. They're like, all right, dwarves, let's show you how this war thing is really done.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular pious night?
And that's all my
Pious
points.
Knight, Lemuel, Knight of the Moon.
Yeah.
He's kind of pure.
So, so the
Reasons I-
non-evil
Yep. That's what they're there for.
cyborg zombies stuck a bunch of living stars to the inside of this machine. I don't know. I'm really stretching the boundaries of non-corrupt here, but
It's in the name of
Yeah.
science.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
we
maybe
should drop
even
them
once
slightly
they
there.
explain to the stars that this is all for finding
Yeah.
the best possible route and
Yeah,
in an age of chaos, then
yeah.
maybe one or two of the stars might do it voluntarily.
The rest can just be nailed in
Well,
place.
I suspect the stars won't like it, but
Yeah.
they might understand at least.
Yeah. There's nothing about this giant machine that requires them to be tormented. Just
Well, it's-
in
They
place.
can have little rooms where
It
you
sees
watch
the big
Yeah.
picture.
movies and
Yeah.
have popcorn.
Little swings they can see.
Plus, they're stars. They used to hang around in the sky all day.
Yeah,
you know,
this should be like, a taste of home.
Home sucked for them.
Well,
They
they
fled.
got cast out. Anyway,
No, they fled.
fought a war.
that's...
They got cast out. They got kicked out.
cast out, yeah. Anyway,
I wonder
So-
if the machine will be accurate because the stars that it has are all the female stars, and the stars that these guys base their predictions on were all the male stars
oh,
I
perhaps,
don't know if
perhaps
it'll
we
be
need
different.
to somehow combine our
predictions.
predictions.
I think it's gonna be too late.
Well, I don't know. Perhaps things are going to look up. Maybe
Maybe the
Nothing but
cataclysm
nice
is part of
things.
the ideal future. So,
maybe.
are you done?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, actually, since Cataclysm can
Oh, I
happen
didn't
one or
know
the
where-
other, it
That's
pretty
okay, I
much
don't
has
have
to
that
be.
meeting.
It's going to be.
Alright, I'm gonna use one of your
You better you successfully make.
I've not
Sir
taken away
Lemuel,
all your
right.
cataclysms.
unknown Night of the Moon.
Yes, everything's going to go well.
And we're going to take the body, well, the remains, it's not really the body anymore, it's been several, the remains of Saint Sepharia, and they're going to scout out a good resting place, which just happens to be here.
Your knife doesn't die in the course of conveying.
So,
Well,
I'm-
if you like, you can make him famous for that and say that when he dies, he'll be
Yeah.
buried there.
no. I just wanted him to be a marked grave in the, well, like a marked grave, but lost in the mountains.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's not happening this time.
Nope.
But in age 2, I'm going to bump up their chances of death to 50% until there are only 3 of them left.
Okay.
Does this
So
one
they
count
find
as
the
alive?
Hollow Mountain,
Yeah, he's still alive.
and they, using Command City, Civilization, City, find a city there. and around the remains of Saint Zachariah. It's not really a human only city. It's like whatever.
A lot of brown robes, a lot of
Yeah,
elves.
brown robes would like it there. And it's basically a holy city.
Did they have slaves there?
No. That's
Excellent.
okay.
You may
now
want
let
to
me
spend a
just-
couple points purifying it then.
I will if I have points left over. I have to do some math.
They'd start with the purify of the Voltibabadoobadoobas, the Vons, Sun's Von, so they'd be +1 to start with, because it's from them.
They're Vikings.
So they're already +1. You
John,
could-
if my Eris fairy
So
she
I funded the
is really good
city.
at scrying and was scrying on these guys and heard about
Is that all I did?
world thing.
Is find the city?
Well, she's a goddess, so she could probably just.
Yeah, she's.
Or demigoddess.
Oh,
Whatever.
okay.
She could just,
I
like, flee
funded
down
the city. I
the
just,
other
did I
planet or
describe the
something.
city?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
wanna
can
describe
say
it?
afterwards. You can get if you
Legendary entities will survive anything.
I'm going to
Oh.
purify the city.
Because I don't want her to get
Yeah.
roasted.
I guess it's up to you
Purified
Yeah.
whether they
Yeah.
survive or not.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's okay.
I got 4 points left.
Yeah, like, and I mean, if after the fact you want this or that or whatever to get out of any cataclysm, you totally can, right? You can be like, turns out that such and such was in the Duda zone, and whatever, right? You can make up whatever you want after
And
the fact.
I'm going to advance the city to make it not in the best, a very major religious center,
Like a Mecca?
like a Mecca. It's definitely a
Do build
Mecca.
pilgrims.
People go on pilgrimages to view this body of Saint
What's the saint
Zachariah.
called?
What? I have to think of a name.
Maybe Saint Zachariah.
I don't want to name it after the saint because the religion's named after the saint.
They're very unoriginal.
Yes.
I got no.
I what?
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth?
I need let's find one that starts with.
I don't think that one's been used by any franchises.
No, not at all. Totally clear. Not Final Fantasy VII, definitely not that.
We can call it Sarunia. Are ready?
So we go.
Serunia. So, yeah. Clerics like it.
So, oh wait, you're done, right?
I'm done.
So I'm gonna spend my first. I'm gonna spend my
I
points,
used all of my points
and
up.
I'm gonna use all my points on just doing.
I did roll very well.
I'm going to do a whole bunch of stuff to make. Turns out that let's see. Turns out that this is a described civilization. Turns out that the Panoblin speak with a French Canadian accent. Turns out that in the last, like, there's been lots of fads and stuff, but like right before this, in the last like 10 years, swing dancing has been a major thing among the Ood.
What?
This is all part of the cataclysm. Just got to do these things to establish the necessary foundation for the cataclysm.
It's not really silly.
Swing dancing?
It
Fantasy
totally
world?
works.
Yeah.
Why
Yep.
not?
Wait, the Ood?
Yes.
They're a highly advanced race.
When the Ood swing dance,
I
they
guess.
swing their brains around.
I guess, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I guess I could make it not the Ood, but
Why swing dancing?
it's
Why not?
interesting.
How about ballroom or something?
How about dance?
They're all about to die. Let
You
them
be more
dance.
general, like dance?
They've
Swing
had
is
some-
like the big thing at this moment. Of course they dance all the time. They're like a big. I guess it could be the gnomes. No, that's kind of weird. I want it to be one of the big magical sieves because
Alright, let's
Yep,
see
you
here.
do swing dancing.
Those Ood are suddenly just lost a lot of respect in my mind.
Okay.
It's not possible.
All right, I'll change it if you think it's silly.
No, that's fine.
Ball waltzes.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
no
just
sillier than their
Any
brain
idea how this
thing,
is
really.
gonna do?
I could see
Your
like
how
the
are they
idea
supposed
of
to
this
swing while
ancient.
holding a brain?
It's in a bag on
All
It's
right,
not
fine.
gonna work.
I won't. It doesn't seem to suit the.
To me, it doesn't suit the world. That's all.
Well,
Pan
I'm
album should
imagining
be-
them being like super magical at this point, so they're sort of almost like. I'm imagining them almost like a modern level of technology as far as it's just there's magical. So that's why it suits it in my mind, but.
Alright, well, let's just
Whatever.
hear what you
I
got.
can
Do
give
whatever.
it
I don't
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay, that cost me. Let's see. I need to get down below 5 here. Describe. Describe civilizations. Oh, that only cost me 2. Or no,
Wanna
2
build
times 2, so 6. I can spend just 1
Want to
more.
build a city for me?
Well, I was thinking of just putting one more descriptor on things, like making something.
Or give someone an army.
You
Should
should
they
just,
would build an army? I would if I were them.
he wants to spend 1
Well,
point.
he knows something is happening.
Yeah, but they
But do you
would at this
influence
point.
someone?
Right? They're being decimated. They should try to survive being decimated by dwarves. That's what
Yeah, you
they
could
do,
attack
right?
the dwarves.
Well, if it's
No,
the
no.
last great
You just want to use
army.
1 point.
The
right?
Ood will rebuild this city. So that'll cost me, what, 3 points?
Like you'd think they would either invest in offense or defense. Maybe.
Yeah, the Ood will rebuild this city.
Because this flank's being covered by typing wastes. So,
I just had a list of interesting things to put on civs, and I wanted to put them on there. Ood.
The swing dancing will be important in our eventual campaign.
So,
I just don't
Okay.
want anyone mocking swing dancing because I like swing dancing.
so something
I
happened.
mock the Ood, not the
Swing
swing dance.
dancing.
People,
is good.
it's not entirely clear what happens. Later, there's some theories that had was some kind of feedback loop on their sort of internet-y thing. But there's a gigantic power surge in the magical field of the universe. The primary effect of this is that every person capable of casting arcane magic is instantly turned to dust in 1 second. They all just gone, right? So that wipes out 99% of the Ood. That wipes out 99% of these guys. That wipes out, so
All
say
the
like in the
Ood
humans,
are gone.
they probably have some mages here and there, right?
So these
They're all
guys
dead.
are gone.
So
These guys are
that does a number of things. It also it doesn't destroy magical. It destroys magical effects in place, but not magic items. Or not. Well, it depends. It depends on the thing. Whatever you want for your thing. If that wrecks your thing, just let it live. But it destroys some magical items, and so like it like maybe a quarter or so. And the big thing that does is like the Ood have flying towers and stuff, and like a quarter of their impulse breaks, and so like a whole bunch of their any huge magical city is like destroyed in a major way. All magical casters in the world are instantly dead, and that this not only does it like totally trash the magical civs, but it also breeds a lot of fear of magic in the world, because like not only did like all the people who knew magic die,
Or
but
disappear.
well they turn to dust, so you know they're dead, but they're not like a body. It's just like pile of dust.
Like, I'm sure people were looking at, like, having conversations with them and saying,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It makes magic scary, because like all the people who cast it just suddenly died. Do I really want to learn this? Maybe not.
There's a great market right now.
Yeah. So there's still books and there's still the knowledge there, but every person who knew it is dead. And of course, if you want to get a particular person out of this for some reason or some way, that's obviously fine.
Temporary amnesia.
But anyway, that's basically what happens. Everyone who can cast an arcane magic spell in the world dies. One instantly. And no one's really sure why. It just happens. Sort of a power surge.
the grave of Sir Aristones, Knight of the Owl, is found. Like his friends find his dust and build his grave in one of the magical cities.
I'm just going to take a...
How do
Because-
you know it was his dust? Maybe
Oh, you already took photos. Do you want to take
He's
the photos?
famous. He has
Let's take some photos of like the areas, and I'm just gonna like
just put ruins up.
I'm thinking what I'll do is like these guys are toast, so I'll just put X's there with no name for the Ood cities and these guys. Like these places, they would have had people die. Every place would have had people die, right? But their cities aren't totally wrecked. But these cities are totally wrecked entirely.
Why don't we just put ruins?
I just thought I'd draw an X.
Oh,
That
you're not
would
gonna
really
erase
work
it?
over the elves.
Well, that's why I said it would wreck his thing. But if they come after, then
we come after the Spellblades. Some of them were meeting with them, and sort of as to preserve the memory of the Ood, they found this and
Okay.
take some of the books and make the order.
so
They arrived just in time to loot.
yeah. Why don't you take a photo of this?
Good adventure.
I guess I
They're
can
like,
turn these into X's.
Actually, on a
Yeah,
on a one or a two, Sir Arrested
I'll just turn them into X's, but I'll.
Nope, he's toast.
Okay, yeah, but still, just take a photo of this.
So you lost one of yours.
Yeah, I had one who was the magic user, and he's
Oh, yeah.
he's host.
I got a shadow.
Yay!
On there. This- Yeah, I'll go like that.
So I'm
So
saying yay.
wait, he wants
Where
to
did
die.
Where did he die?
He's in an Ood ruin. He was
Which
going to
one?
be helping them with their war against, like he was studying with the Ood, wanted to help them with their war against the
I'll just
dwarves,
take
but
a photo of these.
so his grave is in an Ood
Easier to
city.
take more than
I'm just gonna erase with circles and put X's to show
Oh, I
the
see.
ruins.
Only the
Same
elven
as
inquisitors know where he's buried.
Spellblades, I think.
Only the spellblades know where he's buried.
So they
It's somewhere
Oh,
in Ood
you're-
territory.
they just rebuilt the
Your
city.
Oasis died.
My Oasis is going to die because it turns out it kept up by magic.
Oh.
Yeah, anything that would you can specify exactly what happens, but like with a cataclysm, I can toast it right now for free, however you like.
Well,
'cause it's
Here's what happens over here.
But this will continue.
Yeah.
Just, even though it was made by
also this is a huge power vacuum right here because there's a whole land full of like free awesome.
Excuse
John,
us.
what would
There's
you
a
think
whole
about
bunch
like
of autistic people
the
here.
the spell wall that was made over here? Doesn't go away, but it fritzes during this.
Yeah,
and maybe big tidal wave. It doesn't go over the whole world, but it hits this coast.
Oh, safe.
Spell wall?
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
elves were making it. The elves.
that would be.
I missed
And
that would be
really,
fine, 'cause-
that would really work
Tsunami?
over the elven armada. Except
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Tide Hollow would be fairly safe, so they keep some ships, but their naval dominance of the area is.
Oh yeah,
is
yeah,
just
yeah.
heavily
No,
disrupted.
it'd be a big blow.
So the orrery, the destiny prognostication engine, in the course of all this, starts shorting out massively. The obelisk tries to put it into a configuration where this isn't happening. It doesn't entirely work. Works well enough to not dustify the thing, but the obelisk shorts out in all this chaos and ceases communicating. It's still active. It's still alive, but it's something has happened.
So it's no
not
longer
working.
communicating with his workforce.
It's not communicating.
Had a
It's
stroke.
essentially yes. Yeah, and the prognostication engine itself is a little bit messed up.
Eris had been in the process of trying to manipulate a couple stars in some manner. I don't know what she was up to. But that's how she got onto what was happening. So she was spying when the stars got taken to there. And so she had an idea what was happening. And then with the emissaries, she spied on these guys. And then she thought, maybe I should get out of here for a while. So she actually went down into this chasm thing. She can go down, right? She just can't come up. Well, she came up originally, I think.
Maybe she knows the secret way.
It's just
somehow.
a
Anyway, she's way down there in the chaos.
it's a portal into
I think
another
somehow
plane.
that'll
You can come
protect
and
her
go.
from this because she's still able to.
So
She's down.
I missed basically the Destiny prognostication engine tried to make this not happen, but it only succeeded in saving itself, and it got kind of messed up. Is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it tried to put the internal configuration of the orrery is like trying to simulate other times, various alternate futures and stuff. And so the obelisk tried putting it in a configuration where inside the Destiny prognostication engine, this catastrophe wasn't happening. It wasn't trying to stop it worldwide. It couldn't do that. But it was just trying to insulate itself by making a region where wasn't happening.
Right, so
But
nothing.
it didn't entirely work. There was a whole lot of magical shorting. Ooh, it was pretty. Lightning bolts and stuff. Lots of gears and springs going sprawling and stuff like that.
What happened?
So
to
it
the
saved
stars?
itself, but it's a little bit messed up, or it saved itself.
It saved itself, but there's no operator now, so because the obelisk is not functioning.
With the tidal
this-
wave, it could
correctly.
affect the salt dragon eggs.
Ooh, it does affect the salt dragons. Actually, this thing heavily affects the salt dragons. They aren't seen flying around for some time.
Except for Morag's clan. They're
Warwick's clan is fine.
well. They're kind of
they're
in
not
this
magic.
salt flat now.
Oh yeah,
but
there's
they're
a
close to the
waterfall.
water.
There's probably a bit of a flood as that gets overtopped.
So there's like at least
Yeah.
half her clan.
The Vikings
And now
are pretty,
she's mad at Eris, who led her to go there.
The Vikings are pretty unaffected. Yes, people die, but they're safe from the tidal wave because they're on the other side of the world. Can clerical magic?
I was imagining it just being arcane. Like if it's divine magic, it wasn't affected.
Okay.
It was.
Some people die, but no effect.
That's what I would expect. Like pretty much everywhere, some people die, and it would freak people out. But it's not going to wipe out like the gnomes and
No,
humans.
my
or
thought
anything.
with
It's
the
just like-
dwarves was that they were completely non-magical, but they had like artificial means of magic that they stole from the Ood.
Yeah, and so
So
about a
they're-
quarter of that wrecked, and the rest is fine.
Yeah, like
so.
some of their stuff wrecked, but the nobody died from it.
I imagine
Okay,
Dwarves are just like,
the
yeah.
Unless they died
The ice mer?
from things blowing up.
The ice mers. Okay, the abandoned city is fine. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody's still living there. The ice mer's magic though is genetic, and they're all wiped out, so they have no magic anymore. They still have their.
So they still-
solar-
So like, so the Icemer exists, but like it was like inherited, right? And all the
Yeah.
magical lines are now dead.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So only the ice
There's-
merchants didn't
yeah.
have magic.
They
anymore.
basically can't have magic anymore.
Oh, okay.
They still have their
Oh, the squibs.
echolocation thing because that's not magical in nature.
I imagine a bunch of the Warforged would have shorted out from all this too. I mean, they are magical devices.
Probably a quarter of them.
A quarter of them.
Ish.
Well,
You can make it whatever you want, but
John, were the stars magical?
no,
They're more
because
supernatural.
they're more divine than anything. I would say.
That's fine.
Maybe we should.
What
One of
happened
the
to the stars
bones.
who were in the machine?
One of the bones of the earth actually maybe records some of what caused this. So they're making new bones of the earth as they go, or at least at this point they still know how to do that. And one of them actually records some of the problems that led to this. So there's one bone of the earth that has bits of the cataclysm, the stuff that caused that cataclysm, we could say.
Okay.
So whoever makes
Yeah.
it doesn't use normal magic. Oh, they might use magical items, but not. They're
Well,
not
because magical items
themselves.
aren't all destroyed. Just some of them wrecked, and but like anything that's like for example, if you have a floating tower, enough of it wrecked that it's probably going to tip over and crash, right? But lots of magical items survived.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
so
lot of the
perhaps
tunnels
wizards in
under
the
here
future
will
may
have collapsed.
have some thoughts on that bones of the earth that could possibly turn all wizards to ash.
I'm done.
or maybe like they saw it like just coming. So the guy writing the bones verse, ooh, this is gonna hurt.
Actually, that would
Okay,
be
this-
visually really interesting if it was a big cloud of like fog, like fog bank rolling in, and when it hits you, well, hope you're not a mage.
I don't know how it just got inside.
Okay, so basically,
But it's magical in nature. It just manifests.
I'll go magic inside.
I actually do like it though as an instant thing because you're just like
Okay.
you're just walking down the street and all of a sudden like what the just a bunch of people are now dust and like in the
Can you
Ood
imagine
cities
being in a huge
like
crowd or something?
only like the Ood that they had their brains cut off or something like there's like the ones that no one respects and they're just like yes sir sweeping the ground all of a sudden everyone's dust around them.
Oh, much more sweeping to do. This is a catastrophe. Very funny guy.
okay, so the gnomes, the gnomish, like the shanty town, there were some magicians there that would, but They were basically untouched because they had nothing. But the Gnomish society was already kind of on the brink. Like, their wiping out the elves was kind of them acting out of desperation because they refused to admit that their economy was based on nameless slaves that are no longer obeying them. And most of their high noble clans did use, they used illusion magic to make themselves pretty, because the prettier you are, the more of a fashionista you are, and the fashionistas rule Gnomish society. So this event basically destroys a lot of the structure holding them together, because, a whole bunch of the high-level gnomes are dust, a whole bunch of the other high-level gnomes are ugly, which is worse, because their beauty enhancements go wrong. There's a whole subsection of the gnomish nobles that are now called the Veiled, because they just wear veils. They pretend that they basically start a fashion and enforce a fashion where high-level gnomes wear veils, so that no one is offended by the beauty of their faces. They like, we're all still beautiful. We're all wearing veils. Okay.
One of my things I was going to do is have an empire where it was a custom for everyone to wear masks.
Well, now they do.
We can do that.
Now they do. There's just a huge industry making these masks, and
They're very elaborate. Do they get more and more elaborate
the
over time?
phoenixes would be really good at making them.
They would also have nice feathers for masks.
yeah, they
But the masks are highly flammable.
well,
But if they burn up, they come back.
gnomes are totally willing to make sacrifices for fashion. As a matter of
If it
fact,
burns your face, you just get a new mask, right?
basically, Wayne City fragments. They still consider themselves to be gnomes, the best in the world, etc., etc. They're still uber diplomatists and fashionistas, except instead of being a city that travels around the plains, there are a whole bunch of these great big ornate wains, and with squads of gnomish guards mounted on gnu's. They domesticated the gnu,
Of course.
and they're like gypsies, except instead of being disreputable, they're uber reputable, and they travel everywhere.
I thought they were corrupt.
And they're corrupt.
They're just good at lying, so people think that they're not corrupt, but they really are.
So they don't steal and stuff. That it's not really that they're.
It's more, oh boy, the gypsies are
They're-
coming!
They're like,
They're gonna buy everything. It's gonna
the
be
gnomes are coming, put on your best things, and maybe
Quick, mow the lawn, tidy your house.
maybe you'll be honored by them calling you ugly. So some refugees go to Shantytown. Some refugees go to the caves, but most of the gnomes are riding in these wagons around the world, and they kind of get together every so often and tell each other their names and stuff. It's a big thing to tell you. Okay, so I'm gonna make that a command
That be his
command
servant
city
spin
command
it.
civilization. Call that 5
I'm
points.
so happy.
I'm never gonna watch this face.
Where's this mask anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, it turns out that the Way of Tavrak, the dragons that didn't follow the Way of Tavrak, you had some dragon musicians and they turned to dust. No one following the Way of Tavrak was affected by the civilization. The rest of them were kind of affected by the catastrophe, but the Scions of Tavrak become the dominant force in Salt Dragon society, and they're a lot worse than before because they fly in formation now, and they have their own way of fighting, etc., etc. So I'm going to make that a describe civilization. I've got 3 points left, and I'm going to corrupt them again. They're much more evil now, basically because in addition to flying around killing everyone, Now they are much more tyrannous. They're cruel to the unaligned
Legion.
salt dragons that survive. They're very mean to them. They call them names. And that's all my thoughts.
I don't really know what to do.
Everyone's dead. I think, is this going to be our last round before the next cycle? This is the last round
yeah,
for the night,
yeah.
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I
figured
wanted
it
to
was,
see
yeah.
what John's
Kind of
gonna
done
do.
Yeah.
for now.
I just want to get my magic and destroy my
I should
Zero.
probably describe how human society handled the mages all going put.
Sure, yeah, that
Where
could
did
all
the
be
round
perfect.
start?
That can just be part of the cataclysm. Like,
Yeah.
cataclysms have omnipotent power,
I
so...
just realized that I'd neglected to mention, and the reason I neglected to mention is there was surprisingly little effect. There were wizards, court mages, that sort of thing, and they all went piffed simultaneously, so no one got a sudden advantage over anyone else in the course of all that. And then in the aftermath, nobody wanted to lose advantage over everyone else, so they were all quite willing to train up new mages, as much as they were able from the books that were left.
Because everyone's scared of magic and no one wants to study it, they force the slaves to learn magic. So the only mages in this thing are slaves.
No,
Yeah, what do you do with the
no, I don't think so.
mag-
I think that
being scared of magic?
well, they're scared of magic. Sure, there won't be as many wizards, but still.
Do they put like confines on
No,
them?
no.
Mages? Like
If anything, this
very
is. If anything, I think
structured.
this would improve the power of individual mages because they're feared. They're rarer, and they're feared.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think they would sanction mages, because, like, mages had a huge thing that killed
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah,
But they didn't kill anyone
harm
else. So,
anyone
like,
else, so-
it's like, I'm going to be a mage. Are you sure about that? Like, mom, it's like, your kid's a mage. It's not like you have to hide them from the Templars. You're
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? That's the stupidest idea in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
They all died, remember?
Yeah, I don't think that it'd be more of a more daring career choice, but other than that, there's nothing wrong with it.
But it's a trump card, no one.
Well, and it's interesting because if
everyone has a mage or two because they have to.
Yeah,
Well, and it's-
everyone likes mages. They're very useful, very powerful.
it's also interesting if, in general, in the world, people get afraid of magic, but then there's one Civ who's who ends up not ending up being afraid of magic. They're going to be the next magic Civ, right?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why the humans would fear having mages.
Yeah, they wouldn't fear having mages, just fear
being
becoming them,
mages,
yeah.
Sure, but people do a lot. People are soldiers. That's a
you could
scary.
have like
But-
mage chesters, and you're like, I'm not a mage.
No, it's just that there's more of a danger in that career. But again, it is a
Their
danger
entire
being a
civilization
soldier.
is based on taking
Yeah.
risks for ambition.
Yeah. So I don't think that human civilization is really going to be affected much by this.
Cool.
Since everyone lost their mages simultaneously and everyone gets new mages simultaneously, it's a bit of a bump in the road, as it were.
Yeah, actually, this
Sure.
cataclysm is kind of a good note to end this on.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
good with
Well, we're
just
gonna finish
saving.
the turns.
It'd be good to end on Robert's turn because then we could just start on anyone's turn. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
whose.
But I could just do nothing and save my points. Right?
Yep.
I
and
guess
you
so.
But then
lose
You'll
you
lose
lose
your
your bonus.
You lose your bonuses.
Unless
I
you
mean,
wind
it's
up
only
with
3
less than
points.
4. Which will
I
be,
have 8 points.
Oh, you already lost your bonus.
No, I rolled.
Oh, I see.
oh, okay. Well,
you could
Do
You just
something
do what
that's
I
worth
did, like,
purify
you can do a
civilization
couple
out
of
of your
corruption
hand.
or purification.
Give
wanna
descriptions of some of the
purify
places that
the
are being
holy city?
destroyed.
I have a headache, so it's hard to think.
Oh,
You could purify my holy city.
these.
She doesn't have an influence there.
I will let her.
Because my
put
main
this-
people are all dead now.
Purify
Well, you
the
could do something
ashes.
with your
Eris is
pygmies. You could
fled.
make them best at something.
Well, I'm gonna deal with my pygmies later. I just want them to exist for a while. I guess I could do that.
You
With
could-
8
you
points,
could-
you could shape land.
That's what I was gonna say. You can make sure you have one square of land somewhere.
Yeah, there's this island up here that's not got anything on it.
Well, I was thinking these phoenixes that live
Oh,
in
you
this
totally got influence from that.
tree. They're very interested in like
arts and whatever. And part of that is they need expensive components for their artistic, not components, but you know what I mean. Like sometimes the supplies, art supplies can be very expensive.
Oh yeah.
And you also need some kind of you need some kind of economy to support your habit, especially if your habit is art, right, Shannon?
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
So they work hard and they create. I'm shipping them a canal
Oh,
and set up a toll system. So anyone who wants to use this canal may. They don't make. They have no law. It's not like they only let certain people use it or whatever.
As long as you pay
It's
them.
open to anyone as long as you pay them the fee, and that way they won't have some kind of.
Blessings are coming.
the romantic
blessings are
phoenixes were probably the last people on this planet that I was expecting to build that canal.
Well-
And there it is. They're right there.
There's always a
We'll
canal.
call it the Love Canal.
Yeah, you have to go back through in a swan boat now.
Hey, our two naval powers are gonna meet.
They were surrounded by like all these.
Hello. Good, yes. Hello.
How are you?
So we got the
Do you
Love
have any
Canal.
slaves?
Why, no, do you?
No.
Why, excellent.
And then you get the Love Canal. So awesome.
Would you please not look at our codex?
Is it
Did
evil?
Did I mention it?
Okay.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say,
I don't think the Vikings would.
I know.
I don't think the Vikings would be that interested in a codex.
Actually, we're not.
They're more interested
So I
in
got
pizza.
9.
Would one of the
Five,
knights
so
have
I got
encouraged
14
you to do
points.
that? Is
We
anyone-
happen to have all these
You've
slaves.
done
Just
it.
like this.
Nice stuck in history.
We're freed.
Would you
He's
like
so
to put them in our
romantic.
nice little home
Do
and
you
tie
think you
it?
would make it?
Oh, that would be love.
Nothing bad will ever happen.
They're all pretty
That's
complicated.
kind of a
Actually,
Epically
the dwarves
classic
might have a bit of
sucker
advantage
thing, you know,
too.
it's like, oh, we have all
They
these
weren't magic
slaves,
at all, so
former
they would have
slaves in need of a
No
home.
casualties or maybe
We'll
like
take
one or
them
two.
to our
But then they have all this
city.
magical stuff that's still
Oh.
working.
Yes. Yes, they
Except
do.
it's not a classic snucker because no, you
So-
got it.
The dwarves are going to occupy the city.
They're all like,
Sitting.
yes, we won!
This broken Ood city.
Some
They're
general has to take credit for the entire thing.
like, because most of it's intact.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Let's drink.
There's a few broken stuff, but most of it's intact.
So dusty.
And there are a few Ood still alive because they're not as good. I should.
Triumphant victory
Well,
for
no, I
the
should be
dwarven
calculating my points that I'm spending. So, okay, I got 11. They enslaved the Ood.
Whatever Ood are left.
Yeah, they enslaved whatever Ood are left. They forced the Ood to help them integrate this magical technology into
Of
the
course,
dwarven.
the only Ood that are left are non-magical Ood.
Although a lot of them
They were
might be just
squid.
food that had their brains cut
They
off.
would still understand the technology.
Right.
know
So
how to
all their
use it.
magic was kept in there.
No, it's just that that's what made them so good at it, right? There might be some that still had their two brains and they were
Yeah.
just dumb for some reason. But like the thing
Well,
is
they were
though,
good at other things.
even yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But even then, even if it was Ood that had their brains cut off, their children are going to have two brains, and their children are really good at doing magic.
So-
Keep cutting them off.
Like my people, they were all magical. They are all dead.
yeah.
Unless there's like some, what you're saying, like if there's some weird genetic.
Well, you can always make an excuse, right? You can be like, oh, there was
Right.
one who
Maybe
survived
babies.
because he happened to be in the nexus of the Dubatakapagi.
Unless you
Well, a
want
couple of
all
them
dead.
could have been in a different plane or something.
Well, what you could do is you could say that because they knew the future, they predicted that they would need caretakers for their vaults. So they intentionally did not teach some of their children magic.
But magic isn't taught. These aren't humans. It's
Mm,
it's
it's
part of
It's
their
inherent.
yeah. They
Okay,
are
they-
they are about
So
their next
anyway.
year of magic.
Next
And they're all
one.
dead.
Anyway,
Okay.
But I like that. Might have
so yeah, the dwarves have enslaved the Ood, and they've incorporated the technology into their general lifestyle throughout their civilization.
Civilization isn't that. It's this.
Yeah, throughout their.
Okay.
Well, that's what I was gesturing.
Okay, I'm like, this is stupid now.
Yeah.
Not me.
Live on the
Thanks to you.
what will I call that place?
plus the really.
Let's call it Heon.
Yeah, they're starting to look sensible. They were like
Heohn. Heon.
John, is there more scrap paper over there?
1 second.
And let's even say that was the original Ood name of the city, and they're just keeping the name. Because why not? And the Dwarves are going to fortify that city in the way that they do.
I'm a dog and I'm digging a hole. Digging a hole. Digging a hole.
And they're going to raise an army there.
I'm seeing the dwarves being the big evil empire, at least at the next site.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the heroic slave-holding humans will defend us against
Okay, I lost
the
count of
evil
my points.
slave-holding dwarves.
I just need to think for a second because I lost count of my points. I have 14, 6.
Just because they're extremely xenophobic and a whole area of like nice steppe full of magical items that they can exploit happens to be right in front of them. Who can say whether they'll become insanely powerful?
Yeah. Well, I'm corrupting the dwarves one step further.
How many corrupting?
They're at -2 now.
Comparatively, the salt dragons are only at minus. Or did I corrupt them?
You corrupted
I totally
them.
corrupted them at
Minus
-2 as well. So basically, we have the evil empires.
Yeah, because the humans are -2 now too, because they have their warlike and they have slaves.
It's true.
And Dakan is going to rebuild because they haven't done that. And that's all my points spent.
John, one note about the elves when the cataclysm happened, some of the greatest of their ships were in fact they couldn't float unless they had magic. And they also were they were like their great wind mages were the ones that actually would drive them places. So some of the best flagships are now
Oh,
just
sunken
sunken ships all
Yeah.
along elsewhere.
If only
Like
there
magical
were-
ships.
If only there were a race that lived in the ocean.
That
That
wasn't
could get at
good.
them.
If only.
If
Yeah.
only there was.
If only it wasn't evil.
Well, the mermaids are fine, but they live in swamps.
Yeah.
I don't think any elven ships sunk in the swamps, did they?
Some might have sunk in
Pretty
here.
easy to find.
There could be ships sunken in the shallow sea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really
You really-
sunk.
I didn't
It is
notice.
deep.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
notice the difference.
And that completes the first age of the world.
Yay!
What should we call the age of the world?
First age.
The great age of magic.
The sucky
The
age.
age of magic?
The age of magic, yeah.
Yeah, the Age of Magic.
Yeah, because I mean, we all know that ancient magical civilizations are always ancient. There's never a modern one.
Yeah.
Though for the second age, the dwarves look like they were sitting pretty.
Yeah. Although I imagine they don't have like
There may be
it's
things that
never
require
really,
tentacles and arms to operate, and then they won't be able to operate.
it's never going to
Well,
be
they've-
quite
it's
as
been
nice as
adapted.
it was before. It's sort of like it makes me think of like like a post-apocalyptic thing where people have got stuff, but then
Yeah.
they're like strapped it together, and
Yeah.
it's never quite as good as like floating towers with like a magical internet where you could like communicate with your mind
Yeah.
across the continent. It's never going to get there again.
Yeah.
But
I've always wanted that giant orrery to exist, so
That's awesome.
now it does.
Yeah, that's really
And
cool.
it's sort of not wrecked, but not quite working.
Are the stars still trapped in it?
I don't know.
I wasn't originally planning
I'm not
on
even
the
sure how they
dwarves
were there.
enslaving
They were,
the remnants
actual
of the
like
food
people sitting
and
on
incorporating their
stools.
technology into their
Thing,
lifestyle.
it was
But I
more
like it.
magical
Stop
thing.
moving.
Or they were like crystals or something that they were embodied in or something. I'd probably go with the crystals thing, because otherwise you've got an awesome contraption and there's a bunch of women just sitting around in it to make it work. It's like, yeah, I'll sit here.
hey, you guys, come look at this telescope. You can see a bunch of women in there. It tells the future.
Turns out that's what the obelisk is
There it
looking
is,
at all the time.
That's why he didn't
Yeah.
predict things. He was like,
Yeah.
hey, look. Yeah, I'm looking over there. Sure.
Yeah.
I think I see a best possible future right there. Uh-huh.
What magical apocalypse? What? Ah, crap!
I'll do with the obelisk in future phases, but I have it in the back pocket now since it's been damaged but not destroyed. Or was it damaged?
And now you've got a group of cyber liches
Man,
that
their catastrophe is
their
gonna
goal, they're good because they're searching for the best possible future. They're bad because they don't really have much morality preventing them from taking the shortest possible route.
Oh, it's true. The Warforged are free now. You said the obelisk. Was the obelisk destroyed or
It's
just disabled?
incommunicado.
It's still functioning, but it's not speaking.
Okay.
So they
Yeah, it's like
basically
it's had a
continue the
stroke.
same
Yeah.
thing over.
So what happened with the
Well,
obelisk?
no, I mean, Warforged are
Oblin?
intelligent beings.
It took them a long time
So-
to notice that the Panoblin were gone, because they're focused at this thing here.
I thought they were focused
Yeah.
on this thing.
They are, but their primary, like, their
The
to them-
Warforged still
to
have an
them,
army.
life is about closing the chasm.
Yeah.
That's
That's their purpose.
whereas a human might, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a human might be interested in obtaining food and shelter. They're interested in closing the chasm, and then, after they've done their bit towards closing the chasm, they're like, who stole the obelisk? We need that to close the chasm.
They're really going to hate one of the cataclysms I have in mind.
Do they know much of about what's down there?
Cataclysm? So you're gonna do more than one?
Well,
Well, John,
I have
one.
possibilities.
He's got one.
Do
I
they
have
know much
possibilities.
about what's down there?
Well, it's chaos, and they don't deal with chaos very
Oh
well.
dear.
Is it like
They're-
creatures of chaos are always coming up and they're getting rid of them? Or?
Yeah, they
But I have
basically
no
fight
specific
any
one.
incursion.
Is
Like,
there any other
the
religions
fairy
other
had to
than the
fight
one
her
I
way
made?
past them.
I assume the humans have some generic.
It's
Or she's- I
assumed,
think
yeah, it's
she's-
assumed that
she's
like
sort of a shape
there's
changer,
generic.
like not a threat.
It's just not. There's none that are important to
Well,
the world.
they do tend to keep a
Um,
close watch on anything coming past.
Next stage,
She
I was planning on
powerful,
doing some
so-
stuff with the elves.
and or
but-
tricky and deceptive.
at one point I was gonna have the humans develop like an Ood religion where they're like obsessed with Ood. Well, I can still do that. They could be obsessed with like the ancient Ood.
Though the
I run
dwarves
the
would
humans.
probably.
Oh, and there's a prestige class that gives you a second brain outside your body.
I run the humans. This is not going to happen.
That's how I'm gonna get influence.
No. They're going to turn inwards
The Church
on
of the
themselves.
Second Brain.
They'll turn
That's
inwards
what's
on
gonna be
themselves
founded.
in an orgy of destruction to purge this from
So
their-
my prediction: he spends points to get influence with humans. You spend points to remove influence with
Yep.
human. It'll just become this never-ending tax on both
Waste of points.
Well, I've got, I think, 3 things planned for the second age, and none of them are really big 0.6. So I could do that.
I've actually hit almost all. My big plan was that cataclysm.
Yeah.
I have a few more races I'm gonna
Yeah.
create, and that's really it. Other than that, I'm just gonna wreck stuff. I think.
My
Yeah,
big
I'm-
plan was for the second
I'm-
age. I just wanted to make gnomes and halflings.
I'm starting to look for opportunities to introduce the Brock.
Huh.
They will be cool. They will be. I
Brock.
have a cool thing in mind with them.
What force do we have left?
We still have our big forest.
Is that the only
We're
one?
good.
Well,
Well,
there's-
there's
Sure,
dry
This is all
jungle over
forest,
there.
isn't it?
yeah, there's
Nice
Oh
jungle.
yeah, there's
The
the
ice
ice
jungle.
jungle. Okay.
ice
Everyone's
jungle,
been avoiding the
a
ice
pine
jungle.
forest, a rainforest.
This is lakes, so this could be foresty too. It's
Yeah,
not
there's
fine.
there's
I also-
fenland.
hills.
I only cut down
This
the
is
undead
hills. It could be
forest.
forested.
We probably didn't want that way.
And there's a mangrove forest.
Okay. I don't want to do the mangrove first. I wanted to create my
Yeah,
My
I think we should do that.
treelings
Oh, cool.
and my tree people.
And I'm gonna create shifters.
That's going to create Zilmanels next stage.
I've got.
Maybe, but they could be in the same place. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, that is
Well-
the most foresty forest there is.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
don't
something
do
with this
The huge
Sitka that
one?
will make them.
Huge
Well,
tall
there's
trees.
regular forest around here, bigger trees in the middle.
Huge tall trees.
So there's a lot of forest, and it's fairly
No,
abundant.
Well, it
that's
makes a lot of
really
sense that it took
sort
them
of
like an
You were
age to
saying that
find
Shardmire are like
being that they
tieflings and
landed
stats. I was
over
thinking I might
here.
use these guys for
And
their.
now's the first
pictures,
chance
though?
to really get over
I don't know
it.
if, or sorry, the shard. These are shard mines. I don't know if this fits what you were imagining, but like, I think using tiefling for stats makes sense, but these might be good images. I don't
For
know if
what?
this is what
What do
you
you
meant.
For the
Obelisk?
For the Oblin, yeah.
There was
Because there's a bunch of pictures of this, because Shard Mine's an official race, so I could use these pictures.
there was a picture posted.
So
Just
use tiefling
coincidental.
stats.
This is entirely coincidence. I was talking with Mika on Friday about his plans, and I saw on Reddit there was a link to someone had done some art of an undead Warforged. So I don't know how easy it would be.
Can
I'll
you
do
search
that.
that? Dead Warforged?
If you go on Reddit.
It's okay.
It'll just take a minute, but I just
Yeah.
closed it so it's
Would the Rax Unqua, who had managed to transcend their physical form and weren't actually physical beings, would they have been destroyed too?
Your choice. I would assume probably yes. On the other hand, that's a great excuse to get out of it. So whatever, however you want it to be, I don't
if
really.
they exist or
If
not.
you-
Like,
I just- they're
I don't want
quite
to wreck
interesting.
anyone's plans. I just want to kill all the mages. That's all.
Yeah.
I never
You
even
could have-
planned for them to exist. I just now they're there.
You can have one or two of them surviving the huge thing and actually knowing what happened. And then, you
Well,
know,
and they really hate Warforged.
The thing is also the big spell wall might have if they were anywhere like on the other side of the spell
Well, they're
wall.
here, but yeah, they could have been traveling.
They
Yeah,
could have been protected a bit.
looking for.
and then somehow survived the tidal wave, which might explain why there's virtually none of them.
It was on Reddit, and
Well,
he
what's wrong
actually
with
it was
the
Revenant
Unqua
Warforged,
is-
but he misspelled Revenant.
Well, this is Revenant
So what
Warforged.
did it
You're
say?
doing it
Revenant
right.
Warforged?
So maybe that's an idea that's already out there.
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
actually kinda
No,
cool.
it's definitely because it's so horribly broken. It's come.
Of course,
So Mika
of course.
didn't come up
That
with
said,
that
it's
on his
not
own?
like it's not like a truly broken thing because you can't actually do it under the
Yeah.
rules, right?
Well, actually, you can. You can.
Or is it a-
You can be a Revenant and then take the self-forged Prestige class,
Oh.
or not Prestige class, Paragon. Yeah, it's a Paragon path, and that basically turns you into a Warforged.
Gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with Moray.
Yeah.
Full
Well, one thing
forge.
I just had with the Unqua is there could be ones that exist that did transcend their physical form, and they realized not having a physical form isn't all
Kind of
cracked
cool
up.
looking.
Isn't all it's cracked up to be, and that could be where Kalashtar came from.
I do like this picture though. These guys look cool.
They look menacing.
Oh, I've been searching for
They
you
look
for my whole
advanced
life. What have you
enough,
been doing? Oh, I'm sitting in a hut.
I mean, I'm sure all the races we've made will exist at least.
He was
the
in a
odd
hut.
guy. So I might just end up using regular
Yeah,
wolf.
it's
Depends
a
on how much.
Like,
Right, like if there's still
well,
enough of them that
he
they're
was
like
teaching
whole
them to
cities,
use a
I'll probably
stick.
just use a bunch of Warforged pictures. But if there's enough, few enough that you only ever meet one.
again,
Then I could just use one of these pictures.
He didn't know a dragon. He just knew something.
This is a good picture for them invading.
Come on.
Like,
They
And
look
so then
like
when they
they
finally met,
I
mean,
the
it
dragon
was
showed
hard.
up and we killed it in a single round.
It would have been hard, but we were pretty high level.
We were high level, and
And
it
we
was
flew
not
there.
expecting to. Well, first of all, I wasn't expecting that we would be just sitting in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Not on a ship, mind you. We were in the water. So this dragon appears and is like belly flops in the water. It's like what? and
yeah, and it was
Didn't we
also
take it?
long since Pat when it made the deal to do this in the
Yeah.
first place. And because at first it was just like, what the this crap again, or not this crap again, but like, oh, this thing. All right, fine, I'll kill you,
Yeah,
whatever.
'cause it was like,
he made this
70
this
years
curse
later.
Yeah.
It was a what did I call it? A proscription. It was like a curse, but it was like uber lawful. It was right. Like if you ever break this rule, you
What was
you
the
know
rule again?
it was he couldn't
a
come in,
sensei is not allowed to have a relationship with one of his students.
yeah, so he couldn't contact Magda
right.
ever again.
He's
As
not
soon as he
allowed
talked to
to
Magda again, then he was gonna die. That was all he knew. How he was gonna die was
And he was
they'd
worried
made this rule with this lawful evil dragon that this dragon was just gonna appear
But he didn't know what
and
happened to do.
and it just killed him. And he was also
So
under
what
that
does he do
prescription,
with his
too.
life? He goes for a long boat ride and then sits in a hut. He basically went on a lifelong vacation.
But he was told he thought
He
that
would
if he
kill
made
you.
he thought that not only did he be contacted you, but if he made any effort to contact you, even in like a weird roundabout way, it would go off and kill you both. Right? He thought if you tried any way, even roundaboutly, to get to know you,
He's not a risk taker.
that you would both die. And he didn't want you to die. Now it turns out he was.
I want a note.
Turns out it wasn't true. It turns out the only thing he couldn't do was actually talk to you. But he was told and thought that he couldn't do anything to get in contact with you. So
He could have written letters, but no.
No.
Because remember when you got there, all of his like followers were all very
learn sign
cryptic
language.
because they were afraid that if they gave away anything, that the prescription would go off.
Yeah.
So they were all like, look, they were being very cryptic.